And we are live. Welcome, everybody. Glad you're all joining us. I am, as always, joined by my illustrious and brilliant co-host, the Despot of Antrim, who just recently had a nice big long video that he's been teasing and tantalizing us with recently. It is the feminist films that he has been subjecting himself to. And I got to tell you, I've been taking it in chunks because some of it's kind of crazy. I didn't know about the Send Help movie with Rachel McAdams and Dylan, what's his name, from the Maze Runner. I didn't even hear about that. And the way he described it was, I don't know how this stuff gets made. And then there was the next one about, basically it was a fantasy about a woman pretty much killing her disabled kid. It just, and like how that was holding her back from living her best life. Like, it's crazy stuff in these movies. I can't even believe that some of this got made. I'm about a third of the way through. I'm shocked at some of this. Some of them I knew about, and then some of them just insane, absolutely insane. So if you guys haven't seen Despot's new feminist film video from a couple days ago, you should go check that out. And we are joined with our guest this evening, Mr. Random Film Talk, who, what do you got coming up? Because the last thing you put out was, I just looked it up a second ago. What was it? It was, hang on.
It was a little TV show called Has Been Hotel.
That's
just
right.
Season 1. There is a season 2, and I'm going to be doing a video on season 2. God damn it, that show, I can't even really get into what that show is in any kind of concise way because it is broken in ways that I didn't even think was possible. But as for what's coming next, I've just finished up on my next Fellowship of the Ring video, which is it's about 4 hours long, and it covers the Shire section of Fellowship. So it's pretty long, given that it's a relatively short chunk of the film, but damn it, there is so much to say about how good that movie is. So, yeah.
Yours is one of the few that I've seen that I always hear people are like, you should watch Has Been, you should watch Has, so good. Oh my God, it's so amazing. And I looked up the synopsis of what it's about. And it's basically a hotel in hell. And what the angels are just dick jocks, and they're just douchebags, and these actual demons are, they have trauma, but they're really nice, and it's like this weird inversion, and it sounds awful. It's
terrible. It completely misunderstands its own premise. But yeah, like you say, it's essentially it's supposedly about redemption. It's the character is the daughter of Lucifer in hell, and she's trying to rehabilitate sinners because, stop me when this stops making sense, every year, the angels come down to hell and exterminate the sinners because of overpopulation. We could pretty much stop there. Like, how do you die if you're in hell? They just don't. Yeah. How does that work? Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense. But there are so many problems, just even if you accept that it could make sense, like thematically, it is unbelievably bungled. It doesn't. It's written by someone who doesn't believe in good and evil, and someone who is unable to define what a sin is, and so the show is as nonsensical as you would expect, given that that's the subject matter.
That, unfortunately, is, that's almost everything nowadays. That is something that I've been recently. I've shared with you guys. I brought this up in a stream of my own. I've got a term that I want to introduce, because I've been talking about moral grayness, and I think that is, I realize I've been using the wrong term. I think it's morally beige is what we've been seeing the more of, because morally gray implies the black and the white, and we're exploring, the middle ground. What can you get away with? What evil things in service of good can you do? Whatever. But what you're describing is the term I'm going to start using. It's morally beige. It's nothing. There is no right, no wrong. It's just this toddler poop brown soup of nothingness, and it makes for a nothingness story, and it's just boring is really the biggest gripe that I have with it, because you leave a story and you're like, well, what fuck was the point then of any of that?
Yeah, because it's trying go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's trying to go for kind of like a morally relativistic take on redemption and morality. But it doesn't work, because the premise of the show, it's not one-to-one the same as the Bible, but it's essentially the same as the Bible. Good and evil exist, and that is required for the show to function. And then what the show tries to do is it tries to be like, but people who are good are not all good, and people who are bad are not all bad, and actually angels are assholes who like killing people for no reason. And it just falls apart completely. And for some reason as well, Jesus is not mentioned and is not in the show in any sense, but Saint Peter is. That didn't make a huge amount of sense to me. Like,
Okay.
it really seems like they're just going for like cheap shots, without having any understanding of the subject matter that they're pretending to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, as a concept, I could see it maybe having some legs, but just you get through the first episode and you're like, no, this already doesn't make any sense at all, and it only gets worse.
I find that is the case a lot, especially with when modern stuff, when religion comes up, it's just very surface level. It's like Redditor level commentary on things. And it just becomes boring if you know anything about it, because you're like, well, this doesn't even make any sense. You're not even offending me, because what you're saying has no basis in anything that's real or actual people's belief or anything. So what's the point? So, okay, you're edgy, but you're edgy about, so it's a total straw man. It's ridiculous.
Yes, so much of the show is straw manning the other side, and there is no charity given to people who don't share the creator's worldview, and it's ungodly cringe. Honestly, it's not the kind of show that I would have ever popped up on my radar, because it's like it's so obviously bad, but people really do seem to like this show, and I don't understand why. I like, the songs are catchy. A couple of the characters had potential. The art style is, I mean, I hate it, but I guess I could understand someone liking it. Really, the only thing I can compliment is the music, which is generally very well done. And I believe most or maybe all of the voice actors are also like Broadway singers, so they can actually sing. They're not like faking it or anything.
Interesting. Well, guys, check that Has Been Hotel one out, and then the upcoming Tolkien stuff from Random. That's where his real bread and butter is. His big kickoff was
Rings of Power season 1.
Rings of Power, yeah. Rings of Power was what got him started, and here he is about to hit 100,000. So pre-congratulations on that.
Thank you. You're edging closer every day.
You're about to hit 100,000 subs.
I'm at 92 at the moment. So
Okay.
I would think by the end of the year, we'll have to see when that happens. Obviously, we've got Rings of Power season 3 later this year. We'll have to see when that happens.
Getting back home.
Yeah.
Not to pressure you, because you just put out a 3-hour-long video, but what's your next big project that you're working on?
Oh, well, I'm going to be moving straight on to the my Chris Nolan filmography review. So I'm going to be reviewing all of his movies, and I'll be finishing with my review of Oppenheimer. So gonna. It's been something I've been wanting to do that for over a year now, and I thought, this is a good time for it. And I think as well that I think the Odyssey is going to be terrible, and it's going to make it a little bit easier to be critical on Nolan, because, for example, I think The Dark Knight is quite an overrated movie. That would have been very, very difficult for an audience, even from like my subscriber base to accept, or to just to entertain that opinion before the Odyssey. But because there's a lot of anger toward Nolan now, I think they're willing to take a bit more of that criticism on board and think, maybe he isn't quite as good as a lot of people say.
Yeah.
He's done some excellent stuff, but Jesus Christ, he's done some god awful stuff as well. So that'll be my next video, the Nolan filmography. And it's nice as well to get away from fucking horrible shit like the feminist movies. That was really tough. I originally planned the video to be 4 hours long, but I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't watch any more feminist movies. I watched 16 of them to make that, and I couldn't fucking take anymore.
I mean, that's the thing. I've run into that myself with 2 years ago, I was doing the whole Leslie Headland thing. And you hit a point where you're like, well, I want to be thorough, and I feel like the audience will appreciate the thoroughness. But at the same time, I feel myself getting, I don't know, depressed maybe but I feel myself getting off center. And I'm just swimming in this filth constantly.
Yeah, you get to a point where you're no longer able to critically evaluate what you're watching, because your mind is so swamped in shite, and you've sort of reached almost breaking point, and you just have to take what you've watched so far and say, okay, well, that I can't go beyond that. I couldn't even finish watching like Birds of Prey. That was something else. But I suppose that was for personal reasons. The audio was really bad as well. Like the songs were nightmarishly awful. That was one of the reasons I couldn't watch it. But anyway, let's get on to the topics.
Yeah. So we were going to start with something else, but last week we had a new trailer from Disney pop up. This is Hexed. What the Hexed is going on here? Have you guys seen this one? I know, Despot, you messaged me, said you have. Random, have you seen the trailer for this guy?
I saw it pop up on Twitter, and I didn't actually realize that it was a real movie, I think, until you messaged me. It has that AI sheen to it. I can't really describe it, but I didn't realize it was real.
I want to show, before we do anything else, I want to show everybody something. So, Greg, can you please share this trailer? Now, we'll pause it. We'll pause it so we don't get copyright struck, but we don't need to watch the whole trailer. I just need to show a few things. So if you could share that, please. Now, what you'll see, Greg's going to load this up, and this is what you'll see. I want you to pay attention here. I know almost everyone is just listening to this. No one's actually watching. So you're going to need to actually look at your phone a few times to see what I'm getting at. All of the action happens in the center of the frame, right in the middle. And you can tell immediately that this thing has been put together with TikTok in mind. So they have made this movie and they've put all the action right in the center of the frame so that it can be clipped out and turned into clips on YouTube Shorts and very particularly TikTok, because this is aimed at, Generation TikTok or fucking Gen Z or Gen Alpha, whatever the hell they're called. So just watch. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, and to add to that, there's also, I want you to pay attention to the fact that you are not allowed to guess at what's going on or interpret what's going on. And it's a trailer, so I give it a little leeway, but even trailers in the past, they don't just spell it out for you like this.
My whole life, I felt like there was something wrong with me.
Why she?
Oh, hang on.
So you can see.
I didn't want it to be echoey.
My whole life, I felt like there was something wrong with me.
Why is she even here? I'm such an old.
Yeah, so far, and this is the entire trailer. I've watched this trailer twice. Every single trailer, the object of visual focus is right in the middle. The character is right in the middle. The facial expressions are all happening in the middle. Pretty much every frame in this trailer, the object of visual focus on the center of the action was in the middle of the frame. So you'll see that throughout this. Hey, look, there's a student in a hijab. Did you notice that, Greg? It's just to the right of the door there. She's wearing a blue hijab. Now, that is very enriching. If nothing else, at least we get that representation. Yeah, this Hexed this was an abominable trailer because there's just so much wrong with it. It's very trite, first of all. So it's the you even saw this in the comments for the trailer. Some of the comments were, so I'm like the weird kid, or
yeah. I'm not like other girls. I'm different.
I'm not like other kids. Some of the other kids might think I'm different. It's that kind of thing. It's very, very cliche. The main character, go ahead and play it, Greg, for a bit.
Billy, you owe me
you
a
can just turn the sound off.
On why you're a pain in my butt. You don't make me call your mom.
So the main character is the adorkable. It's the adorkable Disney trope. So the adorable dork, adorkable. And she's an adorable dork. She's an adorkable protagonist. So she's kind of clumsy, kind of silly, a little bit self-deprecating, not too serious, not too bright. She's the adorkable protagonist. It was the exact same thing in Wish. This just feels like whatever that character in Wish was called. It's the same character. They've done it a bunch of times now, to the point where it's become a pretty insufferable trope, and they're being called out on it immediately this time around. So, although in Wish it was the same, like people were calling that trope out. The fact that Disney haven't fucking learned. And then you've got that bean mouth animation. It's not quite as prominent as it was in Elio, where they had these enormous, fucking hideous bean mouths, but it's still fundamentally that Kal-El bean mouth art style. And it's just that their features are a little bit smaller, but it's essentially it's Elio in terms of the animation style. Greg was talking about how it has that AI sheen. Honestly, I'm beginning to suspect that Disney chased off too much talent when they purged their animation department during the Me Too witch hunt and the drive for female representation, which was disastrous, where they were recruiting animators literally off Tumblr and Instagram.
Yeah.
I think maybe they are actually using AI for some of this because their animators just do not have the talent to get all the movies they want out. So
this is more of that though. This is so the main character's named Billy, because when this was shown in 2024, I think was the first, like, at D23, hey, we're making a movie about a magical kid and their type A mom. Billy was a boy, and then this movie has been it's got a little development hell issues. Now Billy's a girl. The original director has been demoted to co-director, and we now have a third director in whose credits are Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet, Raya and the Last Dragon, and can't remember the third one that she's worked on. But yeah, new directors come in at the same time that we've switched the character over to a girl. And if you guys watch the rest of this trailer, basically Disney at this point feels like a derivative of its own self. It really, like, I know it's an over complaint, but it does feel like you asked a chatbot, can you make me a Disney Animated Studios plot? And this is, I mean, it's that basic, but it's their own stuff. That's the crazy part.
I mean, the trailer opens with the character saying, what is it? I used to think I was weird, or I used to think I was the weird one. Like, I think we can all pretty safely bet on the plot of the film being that actually they find out that they're not weird and that it's okay to be weird and they just have to harness their weirdness. Or, there's never anything wrong with you, anything like that.
Have you not watched the whole trailer? Because that literally happens at the end of the trailer.
Oh God, no! I only watched the beginning. Oh man,
it's the girl boss character arc whereby she isn't the one who needs to change. It's society that's wrong, and she just needs to accept her inner girl boss. She needs to accept her power and how special she is. It's the same thing that you saw in Mulan. The Mulan remake, the girl boss, there's nothing wrong with her. She doesn't need to change. It's society that needs to change. It's that horrific fucking girl boss character arc. And you're gonna get that here. It's also just plainly a knockoff of Harry Potter. It's feminist Harry Potter. So can you go to the witch world, Greg?
Yeah. So she's gonna, well, hang on. I'm gonna show one quick thing real quick, because it's not a huge problem. It could be in that her magic, it's very soft magic. So she has these sparkly hands here, and then basically just sort of gestures around.
Holy smoly.
And hang on, I gotta pause it for just a second because I was a little too early. She pretty much just kind of gestures and stuff happens.
He's in the bathroom.
And so the problem with that, as a story goes, is that if you have an element that's too vague and too soft, it should be a part of the story. That, in a really excellent story, and in Disney Pass and Pixar Pass, and when the company was amazing, they would work that in somehow. I mean, you think back to like Hercules. His strength is a part of his character. It's not an extra thing that just drives the plot and creates some hijinks and some silly moments. It's a part of his character. And what we're seeing so far is that this is just sort of, she waves and things happen and there's sparks, and it's not really a part of her character right now, according to this trailer. But here's what you wanted to see. So she gets falls down a literal rabbit hole, and a talking book that looks like Cogsworth and a quill pen interview her, and she says, "Yep, I'm a weird. I'm super awkward. I'm not like the other girls." And they say, "Oh, you're a witch, so welcome to the world of Hex."
What the?
May your visit be magical.
Very Marvel.
Close enough.
It's got that dated 2010s Marvel humor whereby it should be. This is what people were complaining about when they talked about insincerity in movies. Rather than just let the moment be magical, when the magical world opens up to her, think about Harry Potter going into Diagon Alley, because it's essentially a copy paste of that, right?
Yeah.
But instead of letting Harry just be amazed at this magical world that has literally opened up to him through this brick wall, instead it's just this is literally happening, and then she gets thrown against a brick wall, and it wasn't so bad. She quips. The moment gets interrupted because we're not taking it too seriously. We don't want to be sincere about it. And then they throw her against the wall because ha, and then she quips. Pure fucking 2014 Marvel humor. This shite is so dated.
It's it's not just that it's dated. It also shows like an unwillingness to engage with like the emotions of the scene. Like maybe after this in the actual film they do this, But I'm just thinking like Pixar and Disney, because this isn't Pixar, this is Disney. Both of them are kind of known for having big, sort of earnest, emotional character payoffs. And the Marvel style of quippy humor just does not work with that, because it means that the characters are not treating anything seriously. So how are you supposed to? You're disengaged with the character in the scene, because the character is not reacting to everything that's happening. They're essentially it's as if they know that they're part of a story and that they're in a movie. So it's going to neuter any kind of emotional impact it has. Maybe they do it properly and, they do this at the start and then it gradually becomes a little bit more, gets taken seriously. But who knows?
Yeah. And then random, you called it. Here is later on in the very same trailer.
Maybe there's nothing wrong with me at all.
There it is.
Why would you put that in the trailer?
There it is. And then she does actually follow it up. Hang on a minute.
Maybe I'm meant for something more.
Of course,
so there you have it. It's not
a woman, and women are always meant for something more.
It's not her. It's it's
like, that's the thing, is I fucking hate this spiritual boomerism that you have to be something. Like, you can't just, marry someone nice and have a nice family and just some job, right? You can't do that anymore. You have to be more. You have to be it's always a doctor or a lawyer for some reason in boomer media, but you have to be something big. You have to be an entrepreneur or something. It's like, no, okay, that's all bollocks. Just it's okay to just have a normal life and just be a normal, happy person and try to raise a nice family. That's the best life that the vast majority of people are ever going to have. Like, and this idea that you should or have to be more, I fucking hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah. It's so that's coming out in November. It already, it's just a trailer. Maybe there's something good in there. What I will say is, I watched it and my wife was like, "Oh, that looks like a lot of fun." And then later the next day, my 18-year-old was like, "Hey, did you see that new trailer for the Disney movie? It looks like it could be fun." So I don't know if it's, just because they're women or we're just angry film critics or something. I don't know. But I think there might be an audience that looks at that and just thinks, this would be an okay time, which is similar to Toy Story, which we're going to talk about here. But it just looks very, very boring. It looks like, Random actually guessed some of the stuff that was going to happen in the trailer.
It looks boring and it looks safe, but boring and safe is not necessarily a guaranteed failure. In fact, if anything, boring and safe might be a boon because you have some idea of what you're getting into. It's not this weird experimental thing like what Pixar has been doing for the last 5 years. So it wouldn't surprise me if this film does reasonably well, provided it's not absolute garbage.
Well, and that's the thing, I think safe might be the best bet for Disney right now, just for a short period to reassure the audience that they are done with what you're talking about. But if they keep going and pretty much just doing what they've always done and basically doing, new Star Wars, where we're doing A New Hope over again, and we're going to talk about Toy Story. That was Toy Story 1 all over again. If they're just going to keep rehashing their own library, that might be fine for a year or two here to let the audience know that it's safe to try to check them out again. But long term, that's going to create the same sort of boredom and detachment as any sort of experimentation or any sort of woke stuff or whatever. It's going to turn the audience off just as much. Well, some other, I don't know if you guys watched these other ones, came out this week. Briefly, Shrek 5 is out, also continuing to scrape the bottom of the barrel there.
Yeah, I saw
Spider-Man Brand New Day came out.
I saw the trailer for Shrek 5, and that was a very simple case of, you know what, I don't care whether it's trite or the animation style or anything. I know people are going on about that. For Shrek 5, it just looked terrible. Sometimes you look at a trailer and you think, wow, that sucked. That looks like a really bad movie. That was Shrek 5. So a lot of these animated trailers, they like to finish with a zinger, like, to really drive home that this is a funny movie for the whole family. And their zinger in the Shrek 5 trailer was the donkey singing Roxanne, and it was annoying the Shreks. And that's it. That's the zinger. And I just, oh man, talk about a swing and a miss. That wasn't even a swing and a miss. That was like hitting yourself in the face with the baseball bat after you missed the ball. That was horrific. That trailer just looks fucking terrible. And that's before you get into how they changed the animation. I know I'm not a Shrek fan, but I know the fan base are very unhappy with how it looks. But yeah, that is an ass trailer, Shrek 5.
Has the animation style essentially changed over to the styling, the much more stylized style that they used for the Puss in Boots movie that came out a couple of years ago? Because that was very, very well received. But I can't, and I didn't realize until you put that poster up on the screen that Shrek 5 is including those characters. So I can't see that animation style working for Shrek. Do you know if they're doing that or not?
Well, what's interesting is that in the trailer, Puss in Boots, Kitty, and the dog Perito, I don't remember them appearing in the trailer at all. So you're right, they're on the poster, but didn't see them in the trailer, and it was not the low frame rate sort of Spider-Verse kind of look. It didn't look like the Last Wish. It just looked like a smoother, I hate to say it, more kind of AI-ified Shrek. Just it's like it's sort of like what's happening with video games, where everybody's like, oh, we have the new DSLX whatever, and look how amazing and updated and smooth and amazing it looks. And you're like, actually, it kind of looks, the more realistic and detailed you made it looks worse. That is how I feel about Shrek 5.
Yeah, that was actually one of the reasons why I didn't like GTA 5 as much as the PS2 trilogy. Like, I much prefer GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas to GTA 5. And it's part of it is because of the graphical fidelity and the photorealism. It just makes it less gamey and less enjoyable for me. They're going for, scale and scope, and the driving isn't as fun because they're trying to make it a little bit more realistic. And that's why I was never into, I tried with GTA 5, but I just fucking couldn't. We'll talk more about gaming later, but yeah, that for me in gaming, I'm not a big fan of photorealism at all. Greg, we can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I was doing some other stuff. Did you guys look at the Spider-Man trailer? Because I thought that looked as good as anything from Marvel is going to look in recent times. Looks like it could be a lot of fun. I'll give it that.
I mean, it does look very good, and I will say the trailer's a little bit too long and too spoilery, but other than that, it's an excellent trailer. It actually made me want to go see the movie, and that is remarkable for a Marvel movie because I am checked right the fuck out of Marvel. I don't like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and I, generally speaking, I'm sick to my stomach of superhero movies. So the fact that they made a trailer that actually made me interested in seeing the movie, that's remarkable.
Yeah. What about you, Random? You watched either of these?
I saw the trailer for the Spider-Man movie. I saw it twice because I went to the cinema twice this week for reasons that we'll probably get into. And I can't remember anything about it. I basically just, it was, I believe it was the Supergirl trailer followed by the Spider-Man trailer. And my eyes glazed over and I was like, this is just visual noise and it's doing absolutely nothing for me, but maybe it is a good trailer. I wasn't really open to it being a good trailer, I guess.
I think there's a lot of, they're going for the multiple villains thing again. I personally like the whole red samurai folks, which somebody informed me was the Hand. I'm not big on the comic storyline. So they're doing the Man Spider storyline and they got the Hand coming in here, which is super cool looking. The fight that they showed in the trailer, I thought looked cool. Personally, and I don't know how much time they're going to devote to it. I don't care about MJ and his buddy, whose name I can't remember. Remembering him.
That was a weak spot. I wish they would just fucking let that go. The fat kid, I never liked that character. I also in the massively overrated Spider-Man No Way Home, which is a bad movie. The fat kid, he gets Doctor Strange's ring, and within seconds he's able to open the interdimensional portal. And I'm sitting there thinking that took Strange months of agonizing hard work to achieve. And he's Doctor Strange, and here's some fat kid who just picks it up, and it's just a magical plot device. Fuck, that movie was bad, and it got so much heat when it came out. Like, people were licking that thing's ass, and it's balls. Wow, that is a bad movie.
But that's who it was. Chat comes to the rescue because I can't remember that kid's name.
Yeah, well, anyway, the fucking, I wish they just left that behind because look, let's be very honest. Zendaya is not a popular actress generally with general audiences. She's regarded as being very astroturfed, and she's not. She's easily like the least popular MJ. Kirsten Dunst was obviously the perfect MJ. Zendaya, nah, like she's just not good in the role. She doesn't really capture the imagination as MJ, and she's not even that good looking. You would like him to move on and just leave her behind and let's move the story somewhere else. But of course they can't do that because they want Zendaya in the movie because they think that she's a big draw, and she is a big draw. To be fair, she has a massive social media following. That's what a lot of people forget. Those sort of normies might say, "Oh, why do they even put her in movies? She's not a draw." One of the main reasons Zendaya gets in a lot of movies is because she has an enormous social media following, which gets the movie a lot of free publicity. So that's why they do it. But they were always going to have her in the movie. Let's just hope that it's very minimal in the movie and not a major plot point.
Yeah. I was hoping they lost their memory. Let it go. Before we jump past these guys real quick, I want to do a little, right before the show started, Nick Johnson for $2. Thank you very much. Was asking if you played a 007 First Light. I haven't yet. I don't know if I knew random. That's what you guys played the new 007 movie or
I
game.
I have not, and I will not.
I was curious about it, but I've heard from too many people that it's just bad, and I am not going to be spending 60-70 pounds on a game to play it for 20 hours unless it's really, really good.
Yeah, I had hope for that one. I heard some kind of mixed reviews. Some people said it was good, some people said it was bad. I'm with you. I'm not willing to spend $70 on it to find out, but maybe later on if it's on sale or I hear that they've kind of patched it and really added some stuff and it's really great. Sometimes a lot of games come back from that, so I'm willing to give it a chance in the future, but I haven't checked it out yet, unfortunately. Kevin Faulkner gave away 5 Greg Owen memberships. Thank you so much, Kevin. Appreciate that. To Despot, bass player. Not the wall one. Bass player 2011, Iffy. Looking forward to watching Despot tear Interstellar apart.
Yeah, and Interstellar, I mean, it does have a lot of strong aspects. The music is excellent. It was Hans Zimmer's one of his better scores this century. Really excellent. Pretty good acting. There are problems though with the plot and the science. Fuck, that's gonna be. I'm not gonna try to get into the science too much because I'm just far too weak in that area to really critique it. But it doesn't really make a lot of sense, and it gets into it sort of advertises itself as science fiction, but it's not. It's very much science fantasy. It's every bit as fantastical as Star Wars, but it has this kind of pretense of being gritty and serious, which is ridiculous. But we'll see. I'll have to rewatch it to really see what I think of it. It certainly wouldn't be one of his worst movies.
What would you, unless this is a spoiler for your video, what would you be saying is the worst Nolan film?
It would. I mean, none of us have seen The Odyssey, so it could be The Odyssey. That's looking really bad. But I mean, thus far, I would say his worst is probably Tenet, because it's not only it's not only a horrible mess of a movie, it's also very boring. But The Dark Knight Rises is an atrocious film, but it's at least entertaining at times. Like there's like a lot of so bad it's good in there. Also, I basically regard The Dark Knight Rises as a fun trash film. Like to me, it's like the Madam Web of Chris Nolan's career. It's that bad. It's farcically terrible, but I actually kind of enjoy it because it is just that ridiculous. But it's what's even more hilarious is that it actually has the fucking cheek to take itself seriously. But Tenet is just a boring mess. Tenet's awful.
Tenet's just hard to, Nolan's real big on making his characters seem confused and overwhelmed. I think Tenet was like his most meta movie yet because you, the audience, now feel overwhelmed and confused and like you're out of control, like all of his other characters. So in that way, maybe it's his best film. Who knows?
There's other problems with it though. It's not just that. It's that the main lead is wrong. He's not a good actor. He doesn't have any charisma. He's not a leading man. So that was just a very poor piece of casting. The music's shite. A lot of it is just sort of, the music is reversed. Wow. So what an amazing, do you know, why couldn't they do something creative? Like, why don't we just start in sort of 90s pastiche, and then we'll go back to 80s, 70s. We could reverse it like that, do something a bit more interesting and creative. But nah, let's just reverse it on our fucking on our Pro Tools. Ugh, man, that movie stinks. I didn't like the way it looked visually. I think it used a lot of ugly filters. So much wrong with that movie.
I'm looking forward to this one now. This one also for Despot. Hey, mate, love your content. You're proof the Irish are funny, proving Bill Connolly wasn't a flash in the pan. Cheers, buddy. And follow up from Christian Delorme. That's both of these. Being a Canadian, Connolly sounds Irish. My bad. So not Irish. So you're the only funny one, apparently.
Thanks very much.
We also had, while we were talking about 007, Blue Goose. Blue Goose. I just read that out loud. You got me. It's a shame because 007 should be the pinnacle of gaming. I fully agree with that. Mohsin Lala said he played it. It's fun romp, solid 8 out of 10 for 007, I think. Moon Runner City chiming in $100 for GTA 6 is absolutely crazy. And yeah, it's going to get it. Like, people are going to pay that, and that's going to suck. That it's going to set the bar that if you just create enough hype, you can charge $100 and okay. But JJ Spencer says he cannot, in good faith, suggest anybody try 007 First Light, even if you can tolerate the character assassination. It's just Temu Uncharted game with massive rails and very unbalanced gameplay. So that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I thought that was going to be good. I like Uncharted though, so I'm okay. Like, that is not 100% a negative thing for me because I'll play some more Uncharted. I'm all right with that, and then I don't have to support Neil Druckmann, so it's all good. This weekend, a lot of movies came out this weekend. I actually covered them a few days ago in a trailer stream, which maybe we should do as a group sometime because it was a lot of fun. There was, I don't know if you guys heard about this one, The Death of Robin Hood, where you both, Random, you sitting down? Despot's sitting down.
I'm familiar with The Death of Robin Hood.
I am sitting down. I've seen the poster. That's
it's a deconstruction of Robin Hood, a hero that you like.
Oh my God.
It's
wow.
a crazy.
Who came up with this?
You've never seen anything like it.
Does it have Taron Egerton in a leather jacket in like whatever year it is, whatever century it is?
It's Robin Hood is actually a piece of shit. But the prioress who kills him in literature actually is the one that saves him and does a little send help action where she sort of rubs in his face what a piece of shit he is. So she's really the hero of the movie because I
always knew that the true hero of Robin Hood was a strong, powerful woman. Yeah.
Also this weekend was a horror movie called Leviticus, which is a gay horror movie about two boys who like each other, but there is a monster that is able to impersonate the thing that you desire most, which for these two boys is each other. And it's called Leviticus. And the main villain of, again, I'm glad you guys are sitting down. The main villain of this movie appears to be, from the trailer, the church, the Christian church.
Not Greg. Because there's no way Hollywood would ever go after Christianity.
I know that's crazy.
There's no way that Christianity would ever be negatively portrayed in a Hollywood movie. So I don't know. Do you know what this is, Greg? This is your like extreme far right sort of Christian mind just basking in its own paranoia. You know what I mean, man? Like, you're not oppressed. I'm sorry, white man. You're not oppressed. Okay. It's the women of color in your country that are oppressed, not you. Okay.
That's it is me. I'm paranoid. From the trailer, it looks as though the church actually, it's like a demon that they summon. This is my guess from the trailer. There was also one called Oh Horizon, which actually looked all right. It was like about AI and a girl that, resurrects her dad in AI. And kind of it spirals out. That one looks okay. I don't know that I'm going to go to the theater for that one. But,
sorry, that Leviticus film, I just took in what you just said. That sounds hilarious. So it's about the church summoning demons to trick gay people.
I think that's what it seems. That is not explicitly said, but it's heavy that they're in church and they're looked down upon. There's like a scene where they're in a back room and they're being, yelled at about their sins. And then this monster only attacks these two and takes the form of the other when they're alone. So they can't be alone together. So it seems to me that this is something the church concocted.
That could be hilarious.
Random boys in Indiana from being together.
Can they still attend orgies? Because I know that's popular among gay men. Well, it is. Can they still do that?
Because there'd be more people, so they couldn't get tricked. I think. Honestly, that might be the solution. Don't be
Well,
alone.
the solution
Or
is to have an
maybe
orgy.
become,
Make a throuple.
maybe become like a heroin addict, so that the demon just starts imitating heroin because it's the thing you most desire. Or get like a really good video game and start playing that. You know what I mean? Make it a little bit easier on you. Or what about this? That demon could be class, man. So can you actually have sex with the demon before it reveals itself? How does it work?
I don't know. Let's
I mean,
just
presumably-
assume that it does for the sake of the argument that you're about
That'd be
to
a
make.
good business opportunity for me. If I could hire this demon and I ask a guy, well, what do you desire most in the world? And he says something like, well, I want to fuck Sydney Sweeney. Say, I got you, bro. I'm going to send a demon your way. That's man, this could
The
have been a
last
great
thing you'll
comedy.
ever do.
This could have been a great comedy. Why the fuck didn't they come to me? She said, Despot, I've got a great idea. I want you to write the script. I could have made it a hit.
But the pinnacle of the weekend, the one that's going to make all the money, unfortunately. Well, actually, no, I can't say too unfortunately, because I didn't hate it as much as I thought it was. I thought I would. But Toy Story 5 finally came out this weekend. I know Despot saw it. Random, did you get a chance to see this one?
This one I have not seen. No.
So it's I know Despot said he was super bored. I was not. I'm in a weird place with this one because I can't hate on it too much, but I also can't honestly say like, but it was actually really good. It wasn't actually really good, but it wasn't the terrible, boring, horrific piece of shit that I thought it was going to be. It is just, it's safe. It's very much like Hexed appears like it's going to be. It's okay. It's very safe. It doesn't try to color outside. It's Toy Story 1 all over again. Everybody's happy, but then a new toy comes in that's going to displace everything, and then it turns out this new toy isn't so bad, and then they work together. So that's the plot. That's what's running off. Well, I know he was bored, so I'll give mine. Went and saw it with all my kids. It was the main problem with this movie is that it's trying to do about 11 different things. It's technology is actually ruining kids, turning them into zombies, and not helping them find friends. But then later in the movie, it does help them find friends. So really, it's just how you use it. And then Bonnie is a freaking weird, just a weird kid. She's just a weirdo. That's part of the problem there. Her parents buy her this toy, but they themselves are on their phones and stuff all the time. They're not engaged. They're just like, man, our kid is really weird and doesn't play with other kids, and she might be autistic, but oh, well, I guess we'll just let her figure it out and be sad. So they don't really get involved too much, but they are there enough to make it weird. It's trying to do a thing about, it's trying to wrap up Jesse's story. So there's a whole bunch there that doesn't really need to happen. It's going with this idea about imagination being the important thing of play, but not technology. But again, technology still plays an important role, so it's actually not so bad. Like, it's all over the map. It's trying to do so many things. In the middle of the movie drags real bad because of it, because there's just too many storylines, there's too many themes, too many ideas, and they can't wrap them all up neatly. Honestly, the best part of the movie for me was the new Buzz army that there's just a shipment of buzzes that are on an island, and they all wake up and they just sort of pop in the movie every now and then doing weird stuff as a big group. And it's just a big old group of them just chanting together and stuff. That was the fun part. The other fun part was that there was like no Bo Peep. That felt good. That felt good to me. She shows up in the beginning for about 2 minutes, and then she literally salutes and jumps out the window, and you don't see her to the end of the movie. And it feels like the makers were like, we fucked up with Toy Story 4. We're really sorry. She won't be here. We don't even know her anymore. She just don't. Yeah, she's
Toy
over there in the
Story.
corner.
It's definitely better than Toy Story 4, but that really isn't saying much because Toy Story 4 is one of the worst movies of this century.
Yes.
And one of the most despised movies of this century.
Yeah.
So they did take on some of the lessons from that, and it's not even in the same league as that. That was just one of the sort of nightmare works of the woke era, Toy Story 4. I was bored to death. God, I wanted to walk out of the theater so bad. The buzzes, the sort of buzz parts that you like, where you have this army of Buzz Lightyears running around, it was just a toy advertisement.
It didn't fit in the movie, but it was one of the more entertaining parts of the movie. That's the problem, is that everything else was so boring.
The reason I wasn't entertained by the buzz parts because I felt, well, I know what they're doing. I know this is just a toy advertisement, and they're trying to find Star Command. They don't really know what Star Command is. They're just kind of guessing. to me, it was just like they were running around like a pack of headless chickens without any real tangible goal. And I knew what was going to happen. They were eventually going to blunder their way into the plot and become a plot device. And that's exactly what happened. Like I knew that as soon as they showed up on screen. Oh, it's an excuse for a toy advertisement that will eventually turn into a plot device. Obviously, it's a Jessie movie because Disney don't do male leads anymore. Every single Disney movie has to be a female lead now. They just will not ever. There's some people, they talk about how the woke era is over, and it is. But you still get the sort of woke detritus from it. I wouldn't accuse this of being a woke movie by any means. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because there are certain things, even though Disney have sort of put the woke away, they're trying to demessagify their movies a little bit and make it all a little less blatant. There are certain the company is still very feminized, and it's still infested with millennial liberal women and older Karens. And those people, there are certain things they will never do. They will never allow a movie that has a straight male lead, especially a straight white male lead. Maybe if it's Elio, it's a gay boy. Okay, we'll let that one go. But no, it's all of this stuff. It's Star Wars, Rey, and now they've got Jessie. Last one, it was Bo Peep. It's always a woman taking a man's place, and in this case, it's Jessie's the sheriff now, and Woody has just been shunted off to the side. Notice as well, there's a scene in this movie where Woody goes to help Jessie, but and this is where the story world is cracking, and through the cracks you can see the corporate board meetings and happening at Disney. So Jessie is talking to Woody on the walkie-talkie for what felt like an eternity, and they're just expositing information you already know. And then Woody overhears that Buzz thinks that Jessie needs help. Now, why would you do that? Why would you have Woody overhear Buzz saying she needs help rather than just her saying, Woody, I need help? Because a woman can't ask a man for help. That's the rule. So you can still see it here. You can still see all of these, the political hamstringing of the movie. You can see the woke Karens in the corporate board meeting saying, I don't really like how she asks Woody for help. Can we do it in a way that gives her more agency? It's very corporate. It's very, there is agenda here, right? But it's just a boring movie. Like, it doesn't have a villain. There's no villain. The first one had Sid, and by the way, Sid did nothing wrong, but he's portrayed as a villain in the first movie, right? And he's a really fun villain. He's just bursting with personality. He's actually really funny. Said he's a hilarious kid. The way he mixes up the toys and he makes them like that scene where he tortures Woody. So Sid was a brilliant villain in the first movie. But there's no villain here. Like, it's all very flat and dull. There's no good action scenes. There's no fight sequences or anything. The one good action scene was when it was just ripped off Toy Story 1. Like you said, Greg, it's a copy-paste of Toy Story 1. And at the end, they all have to chase a big truck. In Toy Story 1, it's Woody and Buzz trying to catch up with the moving truck, the U-Haul or whatever it is. And in this one, they're trying to catch a donation truck, and they want to get the iPad or the lily pad out of the donation truck so they can bring it back to Bonnie. It's the same scene. It's a copy paste. It's just a far, far, far less exciting, shittier version of that truck chase from Toy Story 1. It's so shameless. It's such a blatant plagiarism. And the dialogue's all very kiddie and as you know, Bob type of dialogue. And as you said, the messages are all very confused. First, electronic devices are bad, and then they're not bad. But obviously, we know who the real culprit is here. It's the shite parents. And that was the other frustrating thing here. Like, Bonnie has just been immiserated by her parents, just tossing her the lily pad and saying, right, there you go. And they let her bring the fucking pad to the car, to the breakfast table. Like, I don't know how it is with your family, but I know maybe a lot of families do this, but we don't allow our kids to be on pads and phones and anything. Like, they're not even, especially when they're eating or in the car or something, and they have very limited screen time. Now, fair enough, your family's much older than mine. My kids are 1 and 5, so it's not really age appropriate for them to have pads or phones anyway. But even still, like, the time they're allowed to spend watching TV is limited.
Yeah.
So I was I was just sort of furious at how shit and lazy the fucking parents were.
Yeah. Well, they put the pad in her bed on her nightstand, like right there next to her bed. Yeah, they're allowing her to be on it all day. Now I'm with you. I don't. It's not at the table. You're not watching a show and eating at the same time. We're sitting at the table talking or whatever. It's like we'll use it like when we're doing my daughter's hair or something. Yeah, to keep you occupied. Watch this while we're doing hair. But no, to just sit around and stare at it, and they're portraying the kids as like very zombified. And yes, the parents come off terribly in this one. But it's like Random was saying with the has-been thing, where there is no, they started with this idea of like technology is evil and it's turning kids bad and it's horrible and it's kids are bullying with it and whatever, but then realized, oh shit, we have to sell the poop toy and we have to sell we can't just have these toys be evil. So technology it's bad when it's bad, but when it's good when it's good though. When the situation is good, then it's a good technology is good then, but only technology is bad when it's a bad thing. So that's, if you guys understand, that's how the movie goes. So it's actually really fun. It's cool. Just look, there's a chase scene. You remember this one from the first movie? And that's pretty much how they wrote this one. It's terrible.
So does the movie acknowledge that does the movie recognize that the parents are parenting in a very bad manner, or does it just not? Does it, go into the consequences? Do they learn anything?
Not really. There's a few shots of the dad sort of chilling out on his laptop while, the kid is on his lily pad. Now, look, I'm not going to pretend that I'm the second coming of Christ. There are times where I'm so exhausted and I still have like housework to do, and I'll quite happily put on an episode of Sesame Street for my kid or something. But it's not all the time, right? It's not like what that dad is doing. He just wants to chill out on his laptop in the middle of the day. Not I wouldn't do that, but Christ, it was frustrating. There's too many things wrong with it. That it's also the passivity of the characters. Woody and Woody goes to help after overhearing, but he becomes a very passive character, and him and Buzz double each other's functions in the script. So they're sort of canceling each other out, and they don't really they try to generate a little bit of animosity between Buzz and Woody, but it doesn't work. So they have no real chemistry together. Like, how do you make Woody and Buzz not have chemistry? It's an impressive feat of incompetence. They're very dull and very passive. Even Jessie, despite it being her movie, she's quite passive. The plot just picks her up and puts her to where it needs her to be. She finds some characters in a drawer by sheer chance. She is pulled off to her old home by sheer chance. She tries to escape, but is pulled back by a horse by sheer chance. It's just the plot constantly pulling her to where it needs her to be. It's very, very lazy, and it's all very passive. It's I think Toy Story 5 is going to go the way of Spider-Man No Way Home, The Force Awakens. Pretty good reception initially, but I think people are going to realize how bad this thing is in time. Although, as I said, it's never going to be the despised movie that, say, The Incredibles 2 or Toy Story 4 is. Like, those are villains in the Pixar catalog. Toy Story 5 is not that. It's not a villainous movie, right? It does have some redeeming aspects, and I can accept people basically liking it. Like, you're allowed to enjoy this one. I'm not forbidding that.
I think it'll be interesting to see how much money this one makes, because even though 4 was terrible, 4 was incredibly successful. I'm kind of surprised it took them this long to make 5, given that they obviously don't care about just letting the story be done, because they made 4 after 3. So yeah, maybe this will be the highest grossing movie of the year. I have no idea. Maybe, I don't know. Will it beat The Odyssey?
It does. It does.
It was 310 million this weekend, looks like, estimated.
Yeah.
So it's already off to a great start.
It'll be $1 billion. I mean, the word of mouth's good. People seem to like it, and it's already made a ton of money. It'll easily do $1 billion. And it's a big summer movie. Families like it. It's all very safe. There's no political problems, and there's no nasty shit in here. There's even some wholesome scenes where, like, Buzz marries Jessie, and that's nice. So there's things here to like. It'll make $1 billion.
But I agree with you that it will be one that we'll look back on and we'll think, I don't think anybody's going to hate it. I don't think it'll be quite to the level of like a Spider-Man where we'll realize like, oh God, that was actually shit. But I just think it's one of those things that I don't see people wanting to watch this a bunch of times. This is a one and done. I think you'll have fun. I did not regret spending my money at the theater, so I walked out. We had a fun time. There were some very sweet moments.
I am curious. What did your kids think of it?
Overall, like generally positive. Same type of thing. Generally, yeah, we had a good time. Nobody's really talked about it in the last couple of days. We saw it on Friday. It's not something that's come up again. Nobody's saying any lines from it or anything. It's just one of those. It's not going to be this mountaintop experience that you're going to want to watch again and again, but you won't hate it. You'll have had a fun time, and it's a fine summer movie. So it's going to make a bunch of money, and that's all right. We did have some folks talk about it a little bit. Michael giving 5 Greg Owen memberships. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And also Kevin gave away 10. And also this other guy, Greg, gave away 5. So thank you so much, Michael and Kevin. I really, really appreciate that. This one's for you, Despot. Willin, 8 for $5. Hello, all. Did you hear about the new Pixar film Hoppers that has underlying communist themes? Pixar hasn't been good really since Toy Story 3 or Coco, in his opinion. Do you guys see Hoppers? I've seen about half of it as I've been doing other things right now.
God, it's one of the... I don't think I'll ever watch it. It's just... It's so far down the to-do list that it's just never going to get watched. I'm never going to watch Hoppers. I also know that I couldn't make a video that would make... Maybe if I did like a worst of Pixar, similar to my feminist video where I sort of did all the worst Pixar or all the worst Disney animated movies, maybe I could throw it in somewhere in that video, but fuck. What was the half of it like that you watched, Greg?
It basically is the same thing. It's just it's this idealistic girl that is, capitalism bad, and I'm going to go help the animals. And then the animals revolt, and she realizes they're going to murder all these people. And of course, the villain is oh gosh, who's the guy from one of your videos? Just a rich suit that serves no function. I can't remember. He had a funny name, but now I can't remember it. Anyway, that's the villain. Is the guy running from? What's that?
Philistine Moneybag?
Yes.
Oh,
that is the villain in this movie. Phil Moneyberg. He is a blonde white guy. He's the mayor, and he wants an overpass to go through, and they brag about how it's going to save 2 minutes of travel or some dumb shit just to prove the point that it's totally useless. But they're building it anyway, and they're driving all the animals off, and it's so horrible. And this girl is she's a little Greta, and she wants to fight for the animals, but then once she gets in with them, she realizes they're going to revolt and kill them all. So then she saves the mayor's life from the animals who want to kill him justifiably. I don't know how the movie ends, but that's where it was going when I had other shit to do. It's not great. When we were talking about Toy Story, Lord Richelieu, I was talking about the buzzes, and people were bringing up small soldiers, and he was saying he liked the Commandos better than the Gorgons. And I think that's a popular opinion. The Commandos were super cool, and the Gorgons kind of sucked. They did too good a job making them pathetic. Animator X Studios said the buzzes literally better than the movie because I liked them more than anything else, which is a sad statement. You were saying that the woke era is pretty much over, and Owatam saying still going to get some woke stuff that was still in the pipeline. You're absolutely right. It's still going to drip out a little bit. Supergirl is going to be one of those things that's going to come out. It's going to be, it's nasty looking. And then Barang said also it'll come back if we, the second we let our guard down, which I think is true. And then you were talking about Jesse not asking for help. And Rose Baggins said asking for help is agency, but I guess there are a bunch of strong independent women holding the strings that don't need help. So yeah. It's a weird mental jumping jacks that or hoops they got to jump through to, be in charge, but not have the agency to ask for help, but not need it. But that's not weakness. Like it is when a man won't ask for help. That's not weakness. It is when he does it, but not when they do it. It's just the gymnastics are pretty unbelievable, honestly. Before we head out, Caleb wants to know, random, what are your thoughts on the Toy Story trilogy?
Oh God, okay. I like how you say trilogy, even though there's now 5 of them, because
that is how it's viewed. You've got the Toy Story trilogy, and then just this sort of trash that came after.
2 offshoots.
It's exactly the same as I was talking about it with a friend the other day. Pirates of the Caribbean and The Matrix is the same thing. It is the trilogy and then the bits that came afterwards. I can't really be comprehensive in an answer here because it's been a very long time since I watched them, but I think all three of the Toy Story movies are of a similar level of quality to each other. None of them are my favorite Pixar films. Like a lot of people say that, Toy Story 3 is one of the best films ever made. I definitely don't agree there. But they're all very good, and I can see why they are, presumably they're Pixar's most financially successful, purely because there's 5 of them, right? Like Cars was massively successful, but there's only 3. So, I see why people like them, but I won't say that I love them. I think they're very, very good, though.
Good deal. Yeah, I'm interested. They said that they are going to make a 6th movie, and it is going to end Bonnie's story. Not that anybody gives a shit about Bonnie, but it's going to end Bonnie's story, and I guess Jesse's, and I don't know. Then there'll be Toy Story 7. Who knows? But a couple of weeks ago during the Summer Game Fest, speaking of a lot of the male heroes getting replaced with female heroes, we had yet another tick in that column of, especially with Sony, all these popular franchises. They're like, you know what we should do? Nathan Drake? Nah, we need a chick in there. We have Last of Us? Nah, we want to have that all girls now. God of War? Kratos? Nah, let's talk about his wife. So did you guys see the 20-minute gameplay? Because they had like a full 20 minutes of game, the beginning of it. Did you watch
part of it? Part of it, yeah.
I saw 5 minutes and just couldn't take anymore.
So what are your overall thoughts on this? Because I have one positive that I did like, but the rest of it's drowning in red flags is the problem here.
Random.
So I don't know how much against the grain I'm going to be going here with this. I am, because of how much I like 2018 and Ragnarok. Not that I will just say straight up, I've not played the original 3. I've only played the Norse era games, so maybe that colors my opinion. I'm willing to wait and see what they do with it. I am not in the camp of being like it has to be, Kratos or nothing purist type. Given how Ragnarok ended, I would not expect them to make another Kratos game. I think there are other characters that you could use for that. I'm not sure I would have necessarily gone with Faye, but I mean, we'll see what happens. What I don't like, and what I think has the potential to cause problems, is that 2018 is essentially, because Faye dies like right at the beginning of 2018, and the plot is about let's dispose of her ashes as per her final wish, which is like that is ingrained into the plot of 2018 for like very specific reasons why she wants them to do that. And I don't like how both of those games are basically about Kratos and Atreus mourning the loss of Faye. And this new game is going to be like, actually, she wasn't dead. She was fighting like Giga gods in like super hell. Like, I feel like that's going to potentially cause problems, especially if they start trying to like involve the two and have her like watching Kratos on his adventure and helping him behind the scenes. I think that could potentially cause problems with those two games. But principally, I guess I don't have any kind of problem with playing as Faye. I just don't know why they chose her. Yeah, I played a couple of the old games. I wasn't like a super fan, but I had played them, and then I really enjoyed the 18 and Ragnarok as well. And the issue is not so much that what's cracking me up online is that people are trying to convince people to like Faye by talking about how strong she is and she's so powerful. She actually beat Kratos and she beat Thor, and oh my God, you guys should love her because she's so strong. And that's a whole other issue where people just think, well, if they're super powered, guys will love them, so you should just like her because she's so strong. Her story is complete. Like, that's the biggest issue here. It's not even that we're not getting a Kratos game, because I fully expected a game about the now I can't remember her name, so that's not a good sign, but I fully expected either Atreus or the witch. I was expecting one of them, or maybe Kratos and Tyr going with them or something. But the using Faye as a character is kind of crazy because her story is complete at the beginning of 2018. She is the backdrop of the story. It's not even that she's a bad character. It's just that we know everything we need to know about her. There's no mystery that needs to get solved. We don't need anything else about this character. We know that she and Kratos were married. She died. She had this whole plan set up. So she sets the
she sets the story in motion. That is her contribution. She doesn't need her own story. We don't need a prequel or an origin story for this. When I was watching it, I was thinking like, honestly, it's like if they were, if you're super into Power Rangers and they were like, we got a new Power Rangers movie or show or something, and this one is Zordon, the origin story. Like, okay, he's there, he is a character, but do I give a fuck about him? No, I don't. I want to watch a Power Rangers show if that's what I'm signing up for. I don't care about this background character who's just there to hand out the missions. It's Charlie's Angels. Nobody wants to watch a Charlie movie. Nobody gives a fuck about that guy. It's Charlie's Angels that they want to see. So if somebody were to go, hey, it's Charlie's Angels, but it's all about Charlie, we'd be like, so you mean James Bond? Like, what is the point of that story? And so that's why people are upset. But of course, everybody wants to just, well, you don't like women, you big fucking chud. But the other issue with this one is you can tell the writing has changed. The writing staff has changed dramatically because nobody shuts up in this trailer. It is a bunch of nonsense yapping and quipping, and it's not even because it's a female character. It's just they think it's funny to have everybody just be talking casually all the time. She has a companion cube, but his name is Frank because that's really a cool thing where you have a mythological world, but somebody has a regular old name like Bill or Ted or Frank. Oh, but it's spelled crazy. So it's, PH and a QU in there and shit. And then there's a sword, a talking sword. Oh, wait, no, it's not a talking sword. It's the ribbons of the sword. Isn't that so quirky and different? And there's a derpy little lizard. He's like a heckin' little pupper. He's a doggo that you get to chase after. So it's that kind of dumb shit that is put in here that makes the writing sound atrocious. And you're gonna have to interact with that the entire time. What about you, Despot?
So I want you to play this, Greg. Don't worry about copyright. It's just a YouTube video, so don't worry. You can play this as long as you want. This is what it reminded me of. So this is if Ocarina of Time was a modern game. That they're doing a lot of.
Oh, that is a brilliant video.
They're great. A lot of YouTubers are putting these up as a parody of what modern AAA slop has turned into. And when I watched 5 minutes of God of War Laundry, I was immediately reminded of this. So here it is. You need to turn the sound on.
There we go.
Okay, I'm in.
Excellent work, Link. Never doubted you for a second.
Well, that's high praise coming from you.
Hey, don't get carried away now. You got a lot of work to do.
You're right. I'll call you if you need anything.
You got it.
Remember, any enemies that you fight, you can share information on the start screen.
There's a constellation nearby.
Link, there's a gold skeleton nearby. Make sure you get that gold skeleton.
Oh, got a gold skeleton. Nice.
There should be a chest nearby.
I can see a chest nearby.
When you get near your chest,
I think you get the point.
Nice.
There's tons of these. There's a really good one where he goes into the fire temple, and it's just that one's brilliant. There's a few different characters in there that just won't shut the fuck up.
Is that the one where like the villains or the monsters or whatever be like, don't kill me, I have a family?
I watched the first like five or 6 minutes, but they're really well done. They're brilliantly edited as well, those videos.
Yeah.
And that's what it reminded me of. Like, she kills a creature, then she quips, she walks through a dark hallway, and then she goes like, yeesh, kind of dark in here. Or she'll come up with some other quip. It's like she just cannot go 30 seconds without yapping. And that's when she's by herself.
Yeah.
She's talking to herself when she's doing this.
And then the cube shows up.
Cringe to think of what it's like when she's with her fucking cube or her talking sword. This is not something I could ever enjoy. And if you want to try it out, go nuts. I will never play this game because I know it would just give me a headache. If you're talking about Ocarina of Time, one of the things that makes it so brilliant is that it has vibe. It has incredible atmosphere. Like the Forest Temple is one of the most atmospheric dungeons in any video game ever. It's incredible. But if it was like what we just saw, if Ocarina of Time was a modern game, it would have just murdered the atmosphere, the aura, the vibe. And that's what this game is done. There's not going to be any vibe. There's not going to be any atmosphere. It's just a bunch. It's just yap, yap, yap. And you can tell how feminized it's all become because women are far less comfortable with just silence than men are. Women talk a lot more. They're much more verbal in their communication style. And when you fill a game studio with women, well, this is what you get. This is, I mean, there was that article last year that sort of set fire to the internet, the great feminization. I can't remember the name of the author, but she talked about how the feminization of culture and law firms and everything was just making everything shit. And how a lot of the woke shit that happened during the woke era was a direct result of the feminization of white collar jobs, of women moving into corporate roles, moving into movie studios, and they create a culture whereby everyone sort of has to conform to the same ideas and the same moral code. And if you don't conform to that, you're ostracized and pushed to the side, and you're nagged, or you're people are saying things behind your back. So this is what it looks like to me. It looks like a game studio that has been filled with Karens who have insisted on this horrible yap nonsense. It looks terrible to me. I've never played a God of War game. I've no interest in them, but just so I'm actually pretty objective when it comes to this. I don't know who Kratos is or who these other characters are. I don't care. But I'd be perfectly happy to play this game if it looked good, and it doesn't. It looks terrible.
So I do see some things that are positive in there. I agree overall, the writing and everything and the overall story just looks dumb. The one thing I like about it, or the two things I like about it, one, I think the atmosphere, or I don't think it has as much atmosphere as like an Ocarina of Time, but I did like the overall the area where she was at. I thought that was neat looking. I liked it. There was a lot of detail going on, which actually was interesting because it sort of it increased the contrast of how boring Faye looks. These two other gods of war show up. They're very stylized. They're cool looking. One is his hair is on fire, and he's got skulls in his hair and stuff. And then you cut to Faye, who is just so bland. The area around them, there's a volcano off the distance, there's temples in the distance, there's like a cool ruined temple that they're in, there's a lot of Forspoken and Dragonese Veilguard purple, but that's there's good stuff there too. So I thought the overall environment looked okay, but then Faye herself is super duper boring. But the other thing is I think if we saw this gameplay looks like it could be fun. If it wasn't a God of War game, if it wasn't replacing the character that you did want to see more story about, I do like the way that the overall gameplay looks. And if I saw a different game and they were like, here's the game, here's the gameplay, I would look at this gameplay. If the cube stupid shit wasn't there, I would think, oh, this looks really cool. She's got like one magic hand, but then the sword. So you're going to do combos. There's a lot of aerial flipping and juggling and stuff, as opposed to the more slow, methodical, super strong type combat that you see with Kratos, which fits his character. So if I just saw that type of combat and I was removed from the fact that it was a God of War game, I would look at this and I would think, oh, that looks like a lot of fun to play. I like the pace of it. It looks pretty cool. Is it going to outweigh the red flags of having to be with these nonstop yapping side characters who are also almost certainly going to tell you the hint to any environmental puzzle, where the puzzle is just going to be like smack a thing on the wall and then a path, and they're going to go, it's right there. I think look on the wall. You should look on the wall. It's probably right there. Have you checked that wall out? Look at that panel on the wall. After
I will say
in the
that
area.
I fucking love Ragnarok as a game, but goddamn, that drove me insane in Ragnarok.
Yeah. I wanted to kill Atreus. He wouldn't shut the fuck up ever.
It is, yeah, it's the worst example of that I can think of. You'll be looking at a puzzle and maybe, no joke, because there is an option like slider. Do you want frequent hints or less frequent hints? And I was like, well, let's go for less frequent because I don't want too many. Less frequent is like after 30 seconds or so. Yeah. The game just gives you the answer to the puzzles. And there is a mod you can install on the PC, at least, that removes them completely, which I am going to do when I replay that game. But yeah.
Yeah, it was constant. So yeah, I thought the overall combat looked like a lot of fun. I liked the other character she was fighting, the flame guy. He looked pretty cool. The giant panther, that feels a little bit like we're trying a bit too hard to awe you with this super cool mystical world, but it still might work. But the cube, the fact that we've just ditched Kratos, the fact that nobody will shut up, that's going to make it hard to enjoy that game. Even if it is cool looking and plays well, it's going to be tough to get over that writing. And that's a core part of the game. That's bad. That's bad writing. All right. Before we talk about some games some more, which talking about what we are playing, we got $5 from Stetson Elam. Thank you very much. As someone who isn't into God of War, said his favorite part of the God of War uninterrupted gameplay demo was that all the cutscenes interrupted the gameplay. Yeah, it was half that 20 minutes was just her walking around or talking, or there was very little gameplay in that gameplay demo. That's a very, very good point. So speaking of games, let's move on to a little section called What Are You Playing? Because there's lots to bitch about, but there's also lots of fun to be had. So Random, do you have any footage of games you've been playing?
Well, I've been kind of playing a little bit of a mix between like some older stuff and some newer stuff. You guys familiar with Warcraft 3 at all? You play it before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I assume that you know that essentially what Blizzard did a while ago is they replaced Warcraft 3 with the Reforged edition, which was horrendous. It was meant to be like a HD remaster, like from the ground up, but it changed dialogue. It didn't work properly. It crashed, and it replaced the old version of the game. So if you owned the old version of the game, you couldn't play it unless you had the exe file downloaded. About a month ago, I don't know if this was deliberate or not, but they added the original version, including the Frozen Throne expansion, to their launcher. So I was like, well, okay, then I guess I'm going to replay this game that I haven't played in about a decade. And Warcraft 3 is really, really, really good. I really like StarCraft 2 as well. So like which I'm also replaying at the moment. The way that Blizzard handles like its strategy games and the way that it tells its stories, even when the stories aren't great, in one of the StarCraft 2 expansions in particular, I don't know. I just find it really, really engaging to play. It delivers the story in a really interesting way while you're actually playing what is just, a strategy game where you have to build the units and kill your enemy. Yeah, Warcraft 3 is great. Apart from that, I've been chipping away at Cyberpunk, trying to play the expansion on that. But the issue I'm running into with that is that the game likes to do this come back in 2 days thing. Like, go off and do other stuff in the game.
Really?
And we'll have a job ready for you in 2 days kind of thing. It's not like get 2 days of real game time. So I could just wait for 2 days in the game. But I don't want to do that. I kind of want to treat it as if I'm not just skipping time to get to the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of on and off with that. Apart from that, one game that I did play to completion very recently, which I loved it, was the Resident Evil 2 remake. I'm kind of going through the Resident Evil games in a strange order because I started with 7. And yeah, 2, the remake of 2 is by far the best one that I've played so far. It is brilliant. It's definitely one of the best horror games I've played, and it's up there on like my favorite games lists at this point, I would think. Really, really, really good game. Apart from that, is there anything else that there's nothing else that I've played like all the way through or put any significant amount of time into. I've been playing a lot of Wingspan, the like board game, tabletop game. I've been playing that with my wife because I own the digital version, but that doesn't really count because it's just a board game on the computer.
I did play Resident Evil 4 remake, and I really enjoyed it, but the problem I made was I played it on hardcore because I'd played the PS2 version and I thought, yeah, I can fucking do this. And it got to a point where I actually wasn't having much fun because I had various weapons that I wanted to use, like the big handgun that fires a massive blast and you can blow the enemies apart. But because I was having to use my resources so sparingly, I could never manufacture ammunition for it. So I literally had this weapon that I really wanted to use for 2 fucking hours, running around with it, and never was able to use it. And I thought, I'm just not having fun, like on this difficulty setting, because it's I'm just not good enough for this. I can't use all my weapons. I never have enough ammunition. This sucks. So I stopped. If I do replay that remake, I'll have to play it on an easier difficulty. I know it makes me sound a bit like a noob, but it wasn't that I couldn't complete the game. I was up like 2/3 of the way in. I could probably have, forced my way through and finished the game even on hardcore, but I just wasn't enjoying it. And I do think it was the difficulty setting.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Despot, what are you playing, sir? Oh, hang on.
So this is a 4X game called Command and Conquer Tiberium Wars. This is from 2007, and this is an excellent game. This is one of the best 4X games I've ever played. So basically, you can do the story mode where you can play as Nod, and Nod are red pilled and based. They're the best faction. They're the good guys. Or you can play as GDI, who are the sort of soy, liberal world order, post World War II type order. That's them. That's GDI, and GDI are the bad guys. So I always play as Nod, but Nod are also just a better faction. You can also play as Skrin, who are aliens, and their goal is to just wipe out everybody and take over the Earth. Skrin I hate playing as Skrin. They're too difficult to play as. Anyway, so it's a brilliant game, and your gameplay falls into two categories. So you've got macro and micro. So your macro is your tactics and strategy, and I'd say I have good macro overall because I can beat all of the maps on hard. So I don't bother with the story mode anymore. It's too easy. Couldn't be bothered. But it is fun, and you do get there's some actors that you'll recognize from like Starship Troopers or Battlestar Galactica. If you've seen that show, you'll recognize some of the actors in the story mode. So that's fun. But really, the story mode is almost like a tutorial. The real challenge of the game is the maps. So I've beaten all the maps on hard. And then after hard, the next difficulty is brutal. And brutal is it is exactly what it sounds like. It is brutal because your opponent has a handicap. So the computer, the CPU opponent he gets double Tiberium, so double resources, which means you have to either have a very good strategy that forces him to waste a lot of soldiers, you have to target his harvesters, or you have to win very, very quickly. So the game you're seeing here is actually me losing on brutal against one CPU opponent. And it's because I don't even think my strategy was particularly good on this map. My strategy was basically take a Tiberium spike, try to take as much Tiberium as I can, as quickly as I can, and build up a huge infantry force. They'll hopefully break against my infantry defense, and then I'll be able to smash them in a counterattack. That always works on hard, and it can work on brutal if you do it very, very quickly. Usually it doesn't. Depends on the opponent, especially if it's not going to work. Another tactic for brutal is to try to get the center of the map. It depends on the map, but you find the resource-rich areas of the map. You try to hold it. You prevent the CPU from getting it. You build tons of infantry early on. You're not going to be able to overrun their base with infantry on brutal, but you then build airstrike facilities and you strike. You strike down their most important buildings with your airstrike group, and then you finish them off with your infantry. So that's another one that works on brutal. But I've only beaten about 5 maps on brutal. I can't. And here's the really beautiful thing about this game. So on brutal, if I was tired, I just couldn't beat the fucking thing. Even on maps where I'd already won on brutal, I still couldn't beat it on brutal if I was tired, because you can probably tell just looking at this footage, it requires an enormous amount of focus and concentration. You've got many different things going on at once. You've got all of these strategy priorities. If you're wondering why I'm not moving this infantry, it's because my strategy was to basically make them waste a lot of their resources attacking my infantry like that. That's a really expensive airstrike they're bringing in, like air support, which I destroy, and then I can hit them on a counterattack. But it just didn't work because the map was too big, and I wasn't aggressive enough, and I should have been pushing into their Tiberium. But I thought it would be more entertaining to watch me lose than to see me, win on one of the brutal maps. So, yeah, all of the units have upgrades. The big advantage with Nod is that you can upgrade them with Tiberium infusions, so you can get infantry upgrades really, really quickly. But yeah, I got my ass kicked on this map. It really is brutally challenging. What's amazing to me is I'll go onto YouTube and I see guys, and their micro is just incredible. They're jumping all over the map. They'll build like two units of a single type. They're putting down defensive structures in very specific areas. They're launching really clever, sneaky little attacks against harvesters that require really specific micro. Like, the guys who are the best at this game, it's just incredible to watch because I'm shite at this compared to them. But yeah, this is me trying to launch my big counterattack that was gonna, overrun their base, but it just didn't work. By this time, they had too much Tiberium. I hadn't attacked their harvesters. I hadn't challenged them enough. They had too many resources, and Greg, can you finish, sort of fast forward a bit if you want the satisfaction of seeing me completely overrun and destroyed? So this didn't take very long. I was done in about 7 or 8 minutes. Hold on, this is me being defeated. So yeah, they just destroyed my entire base fairly quickly and finished off my infantry, and that was me. Hold on. Let's watch me lose. Can you play that, Greg?
I think. There we go.
Yeah, but it's a really fun game. It's very, very challenging. You will find, that's the other thing, the difficulty curve is great. You'll find hard. Hard is, it's difficult at first, but once you, I was actually fighting GDI there, the bad guys.
Oof.
Once you figure out, and you can see the graph there, the brutal is in orange, and they surpassed me after about 3 minutes, but in resources, it took them less than a minute before they're away. So anyway, it is a really fun game, but it's also kind of exhausting. And I don't know if it's because of the age I'm at now, or because I just don't have the time for it, or by the time I sit down to play this game, because I'm a dad and I'm working all day. So by the time I sit down, I cannot take this fucking game anymore. Like at that time, it's just, you have to be so focused. Like if you lose concentration for 10 seconds, you've lost the entire map. You've lost the skirmish. So it's really interesting because it's the kind of game that I loved when I was in my 20s and before I was a father. But now I just can't take these fucking games anymore. They're exhausting. They
are. You got to be on top of them. You got to remember all your F key groups. You got to build macros to play effective. Like you're locked the fuck into an RTS. Especially when they're on a higher difficulty or the more challenging, you got to commit to it.
Yeah, but it is a lot of fun if you just want to really lock in and have a really challenging, fun 4X game that does have a difficulty curve. If you want to play it on like easy mode, it's impossible to lose on easy. It's impossible to lose on normal if you're any sort of player. Hard, you can lose on hard. That's really where the learning curve begins on hard mode. But yeah, this game on Brutal is it's so much fucking fun. And you can do a lot of other fun stuff. You can have like 4-on-4. So you can fight alongside Brutals if you want a little bit of a longer match. And the beautiful thing as well is that it's from 2007. So even if you have a modest gaming PC or even a modest laptop, you can still have like hundreds of units fighting each other on the battlefield all at once. And it looks pretty good. You can run it at very high specs. So it's a hell of a lot of fun, this game, but it can be quite exhausting. Don't play it. If you're going to play Brutal, don't play it tired because you'll just lose.
You're just going to get sad. Well, this week was Next Fest on Steam. So there was one demo that I was so excited about. And that is Order of the Sinking Star. It's a puzzle game from Thekla Studios, makers of The Witness. And I was really excited about this one. I actually streamed it. That's what you're seeing here. I streamed it the other night for a couple hours. And big fella can just do his thing. Hold on.
This is why I can't. I've never tried to stream a game because I feel like I wouldn't be able to focus on the game and the chat at the same time. How did it work out?
It did take longer to get the puzzles done. It was almost a little embarrassing. And then also I do need to get some kind of noise. Like I've been trying to write online, like stream my writing. And also just, I was excited about this game. It needs some background music, but this one is it's like a Sokoban style. However, each character does a different thing. So this guy picks up these gems, and these gems, when they are placed down, they activate these little triangular things, and the colored beams do different deals. Like the green allows you to walk through walls. The blue ones give you the strength to push rocks. In the previous section, there was a guy in a red shirt. He was able to push rocks around like a normal person. There was a big fat guy in a blue robe. He was a wizard. And wherever he is standing, if you point him at another object or a person or whatever, then he will instantly teleport, swap places with them. And then there's a little thief girl that wears green, and she drags things behind her. So the puzzles start to get complicated really quickly. And then these goblin guys show up, and if you get next to them, they will instantly attack you and kill you. But then this pink cube is here, and it will not disappear until they're all dead. So you can push 2 together, but in this particular puzzle, there were 3. So you had to get all 3 of them together at the same time, so they kill each other. And you're always trying to get to the end of that. There is an overwhelming story. Yeah, so you can see this guy teleporting, and you can always rewind. And so you pretty much have to plan your moves out, solve these puzzles in a specific kind of way. And as the game goes on, like I said, you're introducing more and more characters. You're introducing more and more specialty rules. The guy with the gems was also, he got a tool at some point. He was able to push things on the other side of walls. So then you have to factor that in as well. It got complex really, really fast. But that was all this weekend. There were 105 puzzles total, I think. On Friday, they released some more. And I was just on X to message you, and I saw Jonathan Blow got an email from Gabe that asked him to keep the demo up because it was one of the most played demos all week long. So he's wanting to see that stay up. So hopefully that demo will stay up, and maybe they'll add to it or something. The eventual game is supposed to have over 1,400 puzzles entirely, and each one of these is handcrafted. They're all made individually. So it the final game is going to be 12, 15 times larger than what was in the demo. So that was a lot of fun. And then this was one that I saw advertised. This one's called Object Impermanence, and it's basically what it sounds like when you are not looking at things in this game. Like these flowers right here, they don't hang on a second, I started this one off. So when you look at these flowers, they will bloom, and then when I turn away, they act as though they didn't, and then they just bloom over and over again. And so basically you solve puzzles with this mechanic where there are, why is that? You'll have to drop these little energy ball guys to turn like open doors or whatever. But sometimes like that one, it was falling on the other side of the room. So I had to get to the other side of the room, but not look at the ball because it wasn't falling when I wasn't looking at it. Or there were other ones that were purple colored, and they just reset when you don't look at them. So to solve that's these puzzle guys here, these purple ones. So to solve this puzzle, you have to keep both of these guys in your field of view the entire time. Otherwise, they'll just reset. So that's the big gimmick going on. As soon as that one left my field of view, it stopped powering that up. So that was pretty fun. It was a very short demo, but I did have a lot of fun with it. And then finally, another one, I was just surfing through Steam, and I saw one called Dusk Fade. And this one feels very much like an old school Zelda, or like a Spyro, or a Crash Bandicoot, or Kingdom Hearts especially. It's just 3D. It's got this, old school, bright, colorful kind of style. You're playing as a clockmaker, and then there's a big explosion. So you find that sword that's made of the hands of a clock, and it's pretty much just 3D platforming and fighting. This was all tutorial type stuff here, but this one was a huge positive surprise for me. Like I said, I was just surfing through Steam and saw this one, and it is extremely polished. This one is coming out later this year. Everything from Next Fest was. So it played very smoothly. The camera moved very smoothly. The levels feel very complete. There were lots of little side areas that if you looked around, you would find little treasure chests or the little rupees or star stones or whatever they were called in this one. But the little currency bits, you would find extra of those if you looked hard enough. And then the whole demo ends with this boss fight, which actually was fairly difficult. Like it took a little bit of focus. The rest of it was pretty easy, but this took a minute. So this was a lot of fun. That one's called Dusk Fade, and that one's coming out later this year. So it was a fun week. I was going to play some more yesterday, but unfortunately had to go to the hospital yesterday. But yeah, Order of the Sinking Star, Dusk Fade, and Object Impermanence. A lot of fun stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, that second one in particular looked pretty interesting. It just reminds me of things like Portal, where you just come up with one very, very simple mechanic, and then that just opens you up to like a whole world of different like types of puzzles that people haven't seen before.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting. Yeah,
you can get real creative with it. I'm interested to see where they go with that. But next up, we have. I just watched this one today, and I was was bored out of my fuck. The Steven Spielberg said I was going to question my religion and everything that was real, and I was questioning what the fuck I was doing with 2.5 hours out of my day to watch this absolute boring garbage. But you guys go with it. You'll probably be more entertaining than I will because I'm just pissed at this point still.
Fuck, Ron, did you see it?
I did. I watched it with 3 other people, and all 3 of them said afterwards that if it wasn't for me needing to watch it, they all would have left during the film. It was awful. I saw your post, Despot, saying that it was the worst Spielberg film, and I was like, is that a bit hyperbolic? Is it actually going to be worse than Ready Player One? It is definitely worse than Ready Player One, because at the very least, Ready Player One is entertaining. I really do not like that movie, but it is entertaining.
I don't know that you can spoil it, but don't, if it's been out for 2 weeks, if anybody was going to see it, they should have seen it by now. So spoil the shit out of it.
Here, lads, spoiler, don't watch it. There you go. There's your spoiler.
There it is.
Fuck me. You can't watch it. Like, I swear to God, staying in the cinema, actually remaining in my seat was so difficult. Like, do you know, this is actually true. I was looking forward to getting up to take a piss because it meant that I could do something. I could like walk a bit, walk up the steps and walk up the stairs and hang out in the lobby for a minute after my piss. Like, I was actually thinking about that while watching this. That's how fucking bored I was. Jesus, it's so bad.
One of the things that I didn't, because the opening maybe 5 minutes or so kind of had me like, okay, let's see what happens. Because the part of what makes the film so fucking slow and boring is that it is constructed around a mystery that it then drags on for way too long. Yeah. So at the beginning, you're like, okay, some weird stuff's going on, and I want to know why. Yeah. But then they also do this really cheap thing that I couldn't help but notice, where Emily Blunt's character, weird stuff starts happening to her, and part of the mystery is what is wrong with her. And there are a couple of possibilities based on what you've seen until that point in the movie. But what I thought was pretty cheap is that before the weird stuff starts happening to her, she is already shown to be pretty quirky and weird and exaggerated in certain mannerisms that she has. She is a bit of a weird person. She is not normal, which means there is much less of a contrast between her before this happens to her and afterwards. And it felt to me like that was just the writers trying to throw the audience off by giving us like a red herring of, is this just her normal behavior or not, or like when did the weirdness start? And yeah, it felt cheap. Basically every character in this movie is an idiot of various degrees, and I don't know about you guys, but I think the funniest moment for me, there is this like evil corporation that wants to kill the main characters before they release very, very top secret information and leak it onto the internet. They want to kill them to stop this happening. That is made very, very clear. And they just constantly. Yeah, they shoot at them constantly, and then they have multiple opportunities to just kill them, and they don't. It's very strange. But the funniest part of the movie for me is when Emily Blunt walks past a bunch of people by being like, hello, I know your dead parents. And they're like, oh, okay, well, in that case, you can just leave this high security facility, like, because that's how that works. And then she's driving away from them, and one of the evil like military men like follows her, and he's got the jump on her. And you're thinking like, okay, well, how are you going to do this? Essentially, they're in a car, and they're sat at like a railway crossing with a train going past. And the evil guy is in a car behind them. So he has the jump on them. What do? Do you get out your gun and shoot them? No. What you do is you ram them into the train and try and kill them with the train.
Slowly.
And the bit that made that even fucking funnier is I was like, why would you do that unless you didn't have a gun? So, okay, I guess you don't have a gun. And then like during this sequence, you get like a shot of this guy taking out his gun. It's like, why would you show us that he has a gun if he has to resort to murder by train to get them dead?
Yeah, like they can't go anywhere, bro. Just put your car in park, get out, and go shoot them. There's a train in front of them and your big SUV behind them. They're not going anywhere. Like, why would you drive them into a train? I mean, I'm assuming your car is more powerful. They could just go into reverse and drive right back at you, and it could all go nowhere. Oh, it's so
It was terrible. Well,
The other thing
one of
is
my favorite parts is later in the movie. So the movie's all over the place. So early in the movie, they're at whatever secret government headquarters, and they're like 15 people who used to work for us or something have all not shown up to work today. They're just abandoned, and they know there's a guy named Hugo. That Hugo is what is his name? Dominique Domingo something. He was from Running Man. Actually really good. He's probably the best part of this movie. They know that he has disappeared. They suspect that he's leading this resistance to release his information, and 15 other people have not shown up to work. And they mention this. It's like a big thing, but they just sort of move past it. Later in the movie, Mr. Darcy is able to use an alien artifact to Coleman Domingo. Yes, he's able to hold this alien cylinder and get into people's brains and sort of sit in a room with them and astral project or whatever. And so he is sitting with this guy, Hugo, and they're having this little confrontation because they both are on opposite sides of this. And he's like, why are you releasing information? And Hugo's like, because the people need to know, and your dead wife made you change and whatever. Anyway, two people come in the room and Mr. Darcy sees them. And then when he snaps back to reality, he's like, oh, pull up the people that didn't show up to work. And they pull up the two people, and he's like, this one and this one. I just recognize those two people. And they list the first lady and the second guy. Like, oh yeah, the second guy, that's Hugo's executive assistant or whatever. So this person that just walked in the room, that is like the clue to how he's going to find them, is a person that didn't show up to work mysteriously and is directly connected to this Hugo person who they suspect is pulling the strings to release all this information. And here, 3/4 through the movie, they recognize him and go, hey, pull up his cell phone. And they go, oh my God, we got a ping from his cell phone in this area. And then it was turned off last night. And that's how they find him. Now, you're telling me that this entire movie is continuing to go on because they can't find anybody, because everybody working for this agency is so fucking stupid that they're unable to use the surveillance techniques and equipment that they have at their disposal. They could be using it at any time to find all these missing people's cell phones and track them. But it wasn't until later when Mr. Darcy recognized one of them and they went, oh, you know what? That guy works with Hugo every single day and then disappeared mysteriously. We probably should see where his cell phone. Shit like that happens all the time. It was awful.
It's incredibly boomer in that it picks and chooses what technologies to go. So it's the dumbest government agency I've ever seen in a movie. They are just, I think I described them as the world's retardedest morons or something. And the movie is so boomer because it's just not aware of a lot of the technology that you can use. First of all, the idea that this information would be disseminated on mainstream media, it's ludicrous.
Yeah, everybody's watching CNN.
If a reporter were to even walk into a fucking news station, they would tell her, we aren't going to release any of this until we've verified it. We can't fucking, first of all, we need to make sure it's not AI. We need to make sure, even if it's not AI, it could just be a bunch of actors and somebody is playing you here. We need to take a few days to verify all this. It's a lot of information. So that's the first thing. Even from the fucking boomer perspective, it doesn't make sense. But that's not even how it works anymore. This is exactly what would happen. Let me tell you what would happen in real life, right? So the guy, the main guy who, whatever's fuck, we'll call him Roy. So Roy gets all this shit from the company, and he's like, I'm going to upload it to the internet. So he uploads it to X, and then no one gives a fuck. People get a few lols out of it saying, bro, this is fake as fuck. This is AI. Or you've been had. Some actor sold you this. How much did you pay for this garbage? And nobody cares. Nobody even believes it. And that's it. And then later, they, out of desperation to get people to care, they bring the real alien out. And then people look at it and think, oh, well, aliens do exist, I guess. Oh, cool. Well, back to Instagram, I guess.
And that would be it.
Nobody give a fuck. They don't care. Nobody cares about aliens anymore, man. It's not the 90s, right? It's like this. I read this article, this brilliant article once, and it was something like it was by Morgoth's Review, and he was writing after the Mexican government had apparently pulled a bunch of extraterrestrial bodies into the national parliament to unveil the extraterrestrials, and nobody cared. And he said the reason nobody cared is because this is essentially Playboy trying to compete with Pornhub. This old sort of it's all a conspiracy alien boomer nonsense just cannot compete with the hardcore news cycle you get on X and on different parts of the internet now. People are switched off to that shit and they just don't care. So it's the very premise of Disclosure Day that people would even give a shit about any of this. Like, no, at this stage, people have either made up their minds or not about whether aliens exist or the US covered it up. Nobody really cares anymore. And it's not even a concern. I was watching Risky Business yesterday. It's one of Tom Cruise's first movies, and there's a reference in it. So Tom Cruise sinks his father's Lamborghini or something in a local lake, and then they call the mechanics to come and pull it out, and the mechanic makes a joke to Tom Cruise. He says, "Are you the U-boat captain?" And it took me a few seconds to get that, and I realized, oh, that's a funny joke, right? But you couldn't make that joke today because that was a movie I think made in 1983, and the culture, your average American still knew what a U-boat was. They could still get that cultural reference, and a lot of people watching the movie would actually have fought in the Second World War and would have had concerns about U-boat if they were going across the Atlantic. So, but you couldn't make that that joke today because the culture is simply too far removed from World War II. Only a tiny minority of the audience would get that joke, and that's what's going on with Disclosure Day. It's a movie that it's drowning in the cultural concerns of 70s, maybe the 90s. Like you could push it as far as the 90s, that kind of X-Files type generation media, Independence Day. You know, there was a big sort of alien revival in the 90s, but not really since. And it's just very old fashioned and out of date. It's a profoundly dated movie.
Yeah.
Characterization's terrible. The action is terrible. The CGI is terrible. John Williams' score is fucking awful. It sounds like an AI imitation of a John Williams score. It's just dread. The pacing is fucking awful. Long sections of this movie are incredibly boring. They stretch on way too long. Nothing happens. There's no action. Two of the characters just disappear from the plot. Roy's girlfriend, the girl who was going to be a nun, she's in there for a while, and she's supposed to be a very important character, and then she just vanishes. And there's another character, I can't even remember who it is, but there's one other character that just vanishes and doesn't come back.
John Walker. John Walker's there for a minute, just being a douchebag, and then they just are done with him.
And he just vanishes, and it's like, why did you give these characters so much screen time? They have no impact at all on the plot, and they just vanish. It's an appalling movie. It really is Spielberg's worst, and I really hope he stops making movies.
Yeah. Well, the issue is that they give you the whole point in the first couple of minutes. These people have information about aliens. They want to disclose it to the world, and this agency is trying to stop them. And then the next 2 hours is just a series of chases, not even really chases. That makes it sound too exciting. It's a series of people are hiding. Oh no, they're communicating with this Hugo guy who's fucking useless. Oh, that's another one where in the beginning of the movie, what's his name? Roy, something. He's calling Hugo and saying, I'm just going to release it. I'm going to release it to the whole world. And Hugo says, under no circumstance should you do that. You cannot just release this to the whole world. Then 2 hours later, 24 hours later in the movie, Hugo goes, okay, get to the news station and release this information to the whole world. Like, what the fuck were we doing? What was the point of any of that then? He could have used his laptop to put this on WikiLeaks, and it would have been over in 15 minutes. It could have been a short film.
Roy could just put it online and say, and then he calls the agency and says, guys, there is no point in chasing me anymore. All right, I have put all this shit online, and I have mailed the alien dildo to a random news station. All right. So I don't have any of this shit. It's all online now. You no longer have any incentive to try to hunt me down or kill me. Okay. There's no point. And that's it. He's home free after that.
But so that's essentially like the A plot is the heroes quote unquote are trying to release this information while the bad guys try and stop them. But you've also got kind of the backdrop of what the aliens are trying to do, which is just not clear and seems to be backwards nonsense. And it reminded me of Arrival, but Arrival did this so much better. and without like aliens that looked like they were from like the 1960s or something.
Well,
They
it's
literally
probably
look
because
like the
you're
South
not-
Park aliens.
It's because you're not empathetic. That's probably why you don't understand what they were trying to do.
Yeah, you're not
Quite
empathetic,
possibly.
Random. But the aliens
So-
are empathetic. The aliens that kidnapped 2 children from
Yes!
their bed at night, they're the empathetic ones.
So in Arrival, the point is that the aliens are essentially testing humanity to find out if they can cooperate with each other. That's like broadly the point of what they're doing. And that informs every action that they take in the movie. In this, the aliens arrived on Earth and seem to have been treated or mistreated by the American government, and we're meant to feel sympathy for them. But then we find out that what they do for some reason is, again, they abduct children and they give them wizard goo. I don't know. It's not clear what it is. They basically give them magic powers that they don't want. And the reason why they do that is because the aliens want to be able to communicate with humanity, but the aliens speak in maths. So they need a human who can understand maths. And then what they also need is for that message to get out into the public. So they need Emily Blunt to be a wizard who can mind control people. I don't quite know why that's necessary, but apparently it is. So what is this, big bit of information that they want to communicate with humanity? It's not in the film. The film leaves it ambiguous. There is no answer. The point of the movie, the big bit of information that they wanted to get across, is left to the audience to just kind of insert for themselves. Which means I can't tell you why the aliens abducted children, gave them wizard goo, and turned them into magicians.
Yeah, and like you abduct children, you traumatize them, you experiment on them, and then 30 or 40 years later, you wait 3 or 4 decades, and then you, through very convoluted means, try to communicate with humanity through these two. Bro, just fly a fucking spaceship onto the White House lawn and send an ambassador. Jesus, there's easier ways to do this. If you don't like the humans, you figure, you know what, they're too violent, they're not empathetic enough. Fuck this, we're heading off back to, Vega or Mars or wherever the fuck these ET looking Area 51 t-shirt guys are from. It's dumb. It's so and why are the aliens so stupid? Why does this take decades? Just send a radio signal or something. Like, it's not hard. I know you don't speak in math. Nobody speaks in fucking math. That is dumb. Okay? The aliens didn't start out as super intelligent UFO creatures, okay? They started out as monkeys in a swamp. Just like humans.
They spoke in maths in Battlefield Earth, which is one of the greatest movies of the 90s.
I fucking love that movie.
So
I still need to watch it.
Shocking.
You gotta watch Battlefield Earth. It's the best.
Amazing. It's almost like, how do you make, first of all, everything is wrong with it. Just everything. It might be one of the few movies that doesn't have, literally, it's like 0% for redeeming aspects. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
That's how they taught the people how to, they just like stared into a math machine and it beamed equations and geometry and shit into their eyes, and then they could just understand John Travolta.
The CGI in that movie, there's a scene where John Travolta and that fucking actor who was terrible, they're flying to Earth, and they were supposed to do a CGI render of old Earth, but it looks like they ran out of money or something, and it looks like the beta version of the CGI. That's really good. Battlefield Earth, one of the great trash movies. Trash movies.
So people were, this was something that I was questioning because what was it? Most Seen actually had, So the part of the big marketing push for this movie was Spielberg saying, like, this movie is going to make you question your faith. It's going to make you question reality. What the fuck part of this movie was supposed to make me reflect on my faith, reality itself, my relationship to the government? Like, what about this movie is supposed to make me think about anything? I can explain
that, because what benevolent God would allow this movie to exist? It's like, if God loved you, Greg, he would have stopped you going into the movie theater.
Wouldn't have let me watch this shit.
I mean, they kind of touch on it in like one scene, but I mean, that doesn't even really make any sense, because they have the one scene where they're kind of discussing the morality of, like, who gave you the right to blow everyone's minds by telling everyone that there's aliens. Like, I like that exists. They could have fleshed it out a little bit more, whatever. But then the response to that from the character who, I believe it's from the character who used to be a nun. She's like, but you can't tell everyone that aliens exist because aliens are better than humans. And if you do that, then everyone will lose faith in their respective gods and they will start worshiping the aliens instead. And I was like, why do you think that? Like, surely you would think that the aliens are another one of God's creations. If you're a Christian, for example.
I can tell you exactly what would happen. If the aliens came down, evangelists would arrive, evangelical Christians would arrive at the aliens on day one, and they'd be like, have you heard of the story of Jesus Christ? And I'm telling you that is really what would happen. Like, people would try to evangelize them, and it'd be interesting because maybe they have their own religious stories, and maybe they line up with human stories. Maybe it could actually end up proving Christianity. Like, maybe Christ came to them in alien form on their world. It'd be really interesting. That would be a far better movie than fucking this.
Yeah. Well, at one point, somebody tries to pray to this gal here, and that was a out of nowhere scene too, where somebody kneels to her and she's like, "Stop it! Don't pray to me. I'm not going to be anybody's religion." And then that never goes anywhere. It never gets brought up again. It just was a cool line they thought to throw in there. It's just trash.
Yeah, I mean, that was oh God, it's so. The other thing as well, I mean, no matter what else you say about this movie, it's just excruciatingly boring.
Yeah, you could get away with this if it was a tight 90 minutes of nonsense. You cannot get away with this at 2.5 hours.
It is appallingly edited. It's just atrocious editing. There are scenes that shouldn't even be in it, but there are other scenes that go on far, far, far too long. And you just sort of think, was Spielberg even in the editing room when they were putting this thing together? Like, was he not aware that this scene has been going on 10 minutes too long, or that this scene shouldn't be in here because it interrupts this sequence? It's an appallingly directed movie.
Yeah.
It's the direction on this is fucking terrible.
Yeah,
it really has made me sort of, on a stream a couple months ago, somebody said, who's your favorite director? I said, well, Spielberg. I don't even think I could say that anymore after Disclosure Day. It was that bad. It was that bad. It's really made me rethink, Spielberg's whole his reputation. I know his great movies, they're still amazing movies, but maybe he had talent by his side that he just doesn't have anymore. I know he's an old man and old men make bad movies, but dear God, it didn't make me question my faith in God. It made me question my faith in Steven Spielberg. It's like, was he ever that good if you're even capable of making a movie this bad and this bland and this boring? It was shocking. And by the way, I didn't call that it would be this bad, but me and Greg did discuss this on stream a few months ago, and I said I didn't think this would be good. It didn't look good to me at all, and I was pessimistic. But I didn't think it'd be this bad. Dear God, I didn't think that.
Yeah, it's rough. And yeah, his marketing, it feels like it reminded me of the old Daikatana stuff with Romero. Just, the after Doom, it was like, John Romero is going to make your head explode with how awesome his brand new game is. You will question everything in your life up to this point. And then Daikatana was absolute. I don't even know if it ever got made. It was absolute shit.
John Romero is going to make you his bitch. That was one of the worst pieces of marketing
John
ever.
Romero is going to make you suck it down. It was awful. That's what this feels like. Spielberg is going to make you an atheist because Emily Blunt is going to stand there with her overfull lips partially open.
The full fan mod of Daikatana is apparently quite good, although I've never played it.
I might be one to add to the list. All right. Well, yeah, don't go see this. Disclosure Day isn't even fun to hate. It's
not
awful.
Like Battlefield Earth, where you can actually just sort of have it on in the background while you're doing other stuff, and then you turn around and laugh at it every 5 minutes. It's not like that. It's just really boring, for the love of it. I mean, one of the reasons I made that community post when I saw it, the first thing I did when I left the theater was to warn people not to go see it. Like, and the only other time I did that, I think, was with Snow White. Like, this is how bad this is. It's in Snow White territory. It's shocking.
Yeah, completely. You could see for free, and you've wasted your time.
I don't see how another film this year could top. Like, this is just the worst movie of the year. What else could top this?
I think it's made worse because it's Spielberg too. It just feels Like, come on, man. Even when you're phoning it in, you can do better than this. I mean, you guys mentioned Ready Player One. Like, at least you know how to make a cool looking movie. This didn't even have the Spielberg epic feel to it. It was plotting. It was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to make my bottom 5. Could be worst, but we'll see. It's definitely the worst movie of the year so far.
Yeah.
It's worse than The Bride.
Worse than The Bride. That is shocking.
I would say so, because The Bride, as appalling as it is, it does have some good performances, and there are a few so bad it's good moments. Although it's very close. It's very close. Like, this is down there with The Bride. It's like,
I mean, it's a full half hour longer than The Bride, so
that's the other thing. It's so, oh man, let's not even talk about The Bride, but basically, yeah, this and The Bride are going to be bottom 5. Put it like that. I don't know which is worse. Hard to say. Oh, but and that's the other thing. I mean, you could say, well, The Bride's much more political and feminist and dated, but so is this. It's got that. It's very political. It's anti-Christian. It's very boomer, and irritating and kind of disgusting in that way. So, yeah, but they'll both make the bottom 5. Put it like that.
So far, who knows what the rest
I mean,
go see Leviticus is what you need
always
to do.
amaze us. They always amaze us with like the levels of shit that they can reach. It's the sad thing, man. I never thought I would see Spielberg make my worst of the year list, but yeah.
Go check out Leviticus. Oh, One Night Only is going to be later this year. We still have that to look forward to. That's the one where it's like The Purge, except people can only sleep with each other one night a year when they're single. So it's a rom-com about 2 people on the night where everybody's fucking and they're trying to find love. And
hold on, I don't understand
what's happening. It's illegal to have sex.
Yeah.
If you're single, except for one night a year.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Why?
But if you've not had sex with your partner, then you're still single, right? I mean, if you're going out with a girl but you haven't had sex, then you're not really in a relationship, right?
I don't know. I don't know how the logic of the movie works, but that is what's happening. Is that
or what if I just say I'm not single? It's all right. I can have sex because I'm married.
One night is hookup night.
Or what if I say, no, she's just a side piece. I have a girlfriend, but I'm cheating on her, so it's not illegal.
I don't. Well, you had to be married, so I don't know. I don't know how that would work. If you can, well, it would be illegal for her to have sex, but not you because you're the married one, I guess. Fucking patriarchy.
How are they enforcing this? Because like the Purge movies are really, really, really dumb. But at the very least, in the case of the Purge, if you go and rob a bank, generally there is going to be someone there to stop you. And the idea of the Purge is that there won't be, and you can just rob the bank. With this, are people like, do they have armed guards outside the bedroom 364 days a year stopping them from having sex?
Yeah.
I bet they have implants. I bet they're going to take a shot at Elon with the implant thing, and that's what's it'll be that everybody had the neuro implant, and now they can tell.
Oh, it's in their spine and it switches their dick off.
Digital saltpeter. There's also a Little Brother is coming out later in June next week, and that's John Cena and Eric Andre. It's like What About Bob, basically, but a really shitty Netflix version. So, and then later there's 40 Dates and 40 Nights. That's also in theaters next week. So, all I'm saying is saying that this is the worst movie of the year, bottom 5. There's a whole 6 months to go, man. There's a lot of trash movies coming out.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, but it is because it's Spielberg as well. But honestly, I'm not even going to use that as a cope. I just think this movie is that bad on its own merits. Spielberg or not. It
was terrible. So this one's to you, Despot, saying you got to check out Hollow Knight. It's a 10 out of 10 indie game. All hail the Despot. Yeah, that one is fun.
I might check it out. I'm playing through Cruelty Squad, which was the origin game of Karen iPhone. I never actually played the game, but I did like the character design. Although I've retired Karen iPhone. I might use her in the Worst Awards, but that's about it. But yeah, I'm playing that at the minute, and then I'll see. Maybe I'll try Hollow Knight. It's a fun shooter, Cruelty Squad, but I'd probably like to do something a bit more platform after that, just to mix it up. So maybe Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight is good. It's tough, but it's a fun one. Kevin Faulkner is using his membership comment to say hated what the movie Starship Troopers did to the book. Read it when he was in the 82nd, and it describes how you feel before an airborne jump. That's one that I should put on my list. I want to read that one to see how the difference in the movie and the book. I actually was recently at the bookstore, and behind me there is Watchmen toward the top. I bought the 12 all-in-one package to see what they did to that one. I'll do the same thing as Starship Troopers. That'd be kind of fun. This one is $10 from Ellison7. Total Annihilation is one of the best RTS games ever made. Chris Taylor also made Supreme Commander on sale at GOG for $4. Special tip of the hat to Homeworld, also on sale on GOG right now as well. Yeah, RTS games are a lot of fun, but you got to focus hard. You're locked in, but I haven't played one in a while, and I'd like to.
Yeah,
I'd like to get back into for a minute.
Total War games, I could still play Total War, I think, without, exhausting myself, but the difficulty with Command and Conquer, those resource-heavy 4X games where you're chasing resources and you're competing for them on a small map, those are hyper-intensive on the hardest difficulties, but at the same time, that's, I think, what hardcore 4X gamers want. It is a lot of fun when you're just plugged in, but yeah, kind of exhausting. Yep.
And then lastly, Kevin Faulkner, very kind, asking if I'm okay for $20. I do appreciate that. I was in the hospital yesterday. Every couple of years I get atrial fibrillation, so my heart just gets out of rhythm. It's just a weird random thing. So I was getting that checked out, and I'm good now. I think I'm still out of rhythm, but I'm on blood thinners and something called a beta blocker, which I've never taken before. But I told them I didn't need it because I've been to Hustler University. No fucking betas! So, but they made me take it anyway. And lastly, that boy Dipsky, $10 to Despot. Hey, Despot, have you seen the new Starship Troopers game? They shove another girl boss in as the main character when they had Casper Van Dien in the game.
He's not talking about Helldivers or Helldivers 2?
I don't know.
I'm not aware that I actually played a bit of Helldivers 2. I was quite enjoying it, but I'm not aware of any other new Starship Troopers game.
Yeah, I didn't know they were making them. Maybe he was talking about Helldivers. Just got wrapped up. I don't know.
There was a Starship Troopers. Was it called Annihilation? That's not new though. That's a couple of years old. I'm just having a look now. Terran Command. Yeah, I'm not sure which one. The
Starship Troopers Extermination.
Interesting. No, is that coming out? Let's have a look. Starship Troopers.
Interesting.
Extermination.
No, Extermination came out a couple of years ago. I've heard that it's quite good, but I assume that's not the one he's talking about.
Right,
he said it's a retro shooter that just dropped. Interesting. Yeah, I'll check that one out. Well, next weekend, speaking of really terrible movies, this one is on track. I think it's going to be terrible, but it's on track to lose all kinds of money. So as you can see here on the screen, the projections were that they were going to be in the $55 to $60 million region this coming weekend, but that has dropped to now they're expecting $40 million this weekend. And partly, I think that is because Millie Alcock will not shut up. They cannot keep her from saying dumb shit. And I'm kind of interested to get your guys' take on this because I personally think that Masters of the Universe suffered from the same problem. I think that there's an issue right now where Hollywood is not, they've caught up to the fact that people don't want to make the like overly super woke movies, right? They're trying to get rid of that a little bit. They're clearly editing them out. You can tell when they've been cut out. So they're doing that. They're getting away from making them. We have this little bit of shit dribbling out. But what they haven't figured out is that nobody wants to hear the director or the lead star talk about the themes that are or are not in this movie. For example, with He-Man, the director said that Skeletor was the embodiment of toxic masculinity. And then the actress who played Teela was talking about her character, saying that she's been affected by toxic masculinity just as much as the whole film is about toxic masculinity and how she had to grow up in this overly masculine world and she had to get out from her toxic masculine father's shadow. Like, just, they won't shut up about this buzz phrase. And personally, I think that hurt I think that hurt the box office of Masters of the Universe. What do you guys think about this?
It's not something you can sell a movie on. People need something that they actually can, something interesting, quirky, trivia type stuff. They like that. That's good for selling a movie. For example, Barbie, in their press pack, they sent out to all the media outlets. They mentioned that the world ran out of pink paint as a result of the production, and this made people very interested. They wanted to see this. Plus, it was a fun bit of trivia, and it was very easy to get into headlines.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't. Technically, that wasn't true, but the world did have a shortage of a particular shade of pink paint as a result of the production, so it was kind of true. But that was a clever piece of marketing. Or they used the little alien puppet in Project Hail Mary, talking about that, making fun YouTube videos about that to market that movie, and people were into that. They thought it was fun. So those are real, concrete, physical things, physical marketing gimmicks that work. But when you talk about abstract nonsense that people have had shoved down their throat for 10 years, like toxic masculinity or ownership of women's bodies or whatever the buzzword of the week is, people just roll their eyes and switch off. The other thing is you're wasting time. You have a very limited window to market a movie. And if you're wasting your time talking nonsense instead of talking about pink paint and puppets, which you should be talking about, you're just wasting very, very precious, valuable marketing time. Because people's attention span it's a attention span of a fucking cocaine addicted goldfish these days. It's just appalling marketing.
Yeah. Well, I Random, did you like Masters of the Universe?
I have mixed feelings on it. I don't think I would say that it was good, but I had a lot of fun with it. I think that it is frankly bizarre that they spent $200 million on a He-Man movie in 2026.
Yeah.
I don't think it was ever going to be a success. And I think that's a shame, because this is probably going to end up being one of the better movies of the year, even though it definitely has some pretty serious problems. But yeah, I mean, part of that is I hadn't seen the two bits that you just showed, but that's because I hadn't seen really any marketing for this movie. I had seen that the trailer showed up on YouTube, and that was it. That is all that I had seen. So I think a lot of people just didn't know that this was happening. Yeah. And who is the target market for this movie? It's men who are going to be in their 30s or 40s now, who used to watch He-Man when it was on in the 80s. And that audience evidently doesn't care enough about He-Man to go and watch the film. It seemed to me like they were trying to, because this was presumed. Do you guys know if this was greenlit as a result of Barbie? Because they're both owned by Mattel, and I'm assuming that was the case.
That's the rumor. I believe that is correct.
Okay, because that honestly wouldn't surprise me, because this movie had like multiple conversations about what it is to be a man, how to grow up, and masculinity is a fairly important part of the film.
Yeah, do you know what? Because I was wondering, where the fuck does this come from? Like, is this a really dated superhero greenlight? Like, a really did they sort of greenlight this because it's similar to superhero movies, but really, really, really late in the, like, way after the superhero genre had basically died? Was that what the thinking? People who didn't realize that superheroes don't sell anymore, like those movies don't sell. I couldn't figure it out. Like, what was the thinking behind the green light? That must be it, random. It's got to be this was greenlit on the back of Barbie, because nothing else makes sense.
Well, especially because the vibe I was getting from it was that they were trying to do for men and boys what Barbie supposedly did for women and girls, because of the presence of these sort of masculinity themes in the film. But I think that part of the reason why it failed is because it wasn't really about anything other than the hero who saves the day. There were, like I said, a couple of conversations about, like, again, what it is to be a man. But like, even though I think that Barbie was really not good at all, and it bungled its themes in almost every other scene, Barbie was clearly about more than the Barbies who come to the real world. It was trying to make a point. And that point evidently resonated with $1.5 billion worth of people. And it also had the help of Barbenheimer, which you can't manufacture that. So yeah, I think that this film's failure is going to potentially make them rethink what other toy movie they try to do nostalgia toy movie. Like, what is next? Like Hungry Hippos or something? Like, who knows?
Yes.
Wait,
Are
really?
they doing Hungry Hippos?
Oh, hang on. Oh,
maybe that was a Freudian
surprised.
slip, because I may
We're
have
gonna
seen the
fucking
trailer for
watch
this
it.
and completely forgotten.
Is it a kids animated movie?
No.
Oh, geez, it's not live
I'm
action.
gonna pull it up. I think it's like a shitty horror movie.
Oh
Hang
my
on.
god!
Oh yeah, baby. I thought you knew.
No, I think
that's why you said it.
I may have seen the trailer for this before He-Man and just completely forgotten about it.
If they can make Hungry Hippos on a budget of like $1 million and it's just a shitty horror movie, they might be able to make a few quid on it. I could see that.
So this is Hungry is the name, and it's coming out this year.
Hey, come look at this.
What is?
That's the most dangerous animal, responsible for over 500 human deaths a year.
I have not seen this trailer.
Yeah, this is real. This is a real.
Okay.
Only cute hippo is a dead hippo.
And it's a horror movie.
Oh my god! Like I know that hippos are actually very dangerous in reality, but they don't quite have the same stigma that the Jaws, great white shark, or the alligator. And it's always funny to me when in these movies they just hype the fuck out of how dangerous these animals are to ludicrous degrees. And then because then you still need to find a way for the normal human characters to survive. And I think one of the funniest examples I remember is there was a movie called Crawl, which was set in Florida during a hurricane, and you get a bunch of like alligators end up in the house, and the girl is stuck and has got to escape. And the way she escapes is by out swimming. She wins a swimming race because she used to be a swimmer. The movie goes into this, but then she wins a swimming race against a fucking alligator. It's hilarious.
This there was it looks like there's Pinocchio horror movie coming out.
I think it's called the Pooh-verse or the public domain verse.
Oh yeah.
We also watched the trailer for How to Rob a Bank, which could be fun, but it's going to be so full of blue sky Tumblr monologues about how the banks are the real thieves that it might be unwatchable, but it could be fun. But this is this is Fruit and Chicks.
Welcome to New Orleans.
We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time.
So single women trying to do Eat, Pray, Love in New Orleans are going to be attacked by hippos. hungry hippos. They said they wanted to get 8. That's not what they meant. Oh, good God. All right. I won't watch the rest of that because they'll have to cut it out later because what kills me is that I did the whole trailer stream thing, which I don't care because we don't run ads on these anyway, but it's always weird to me that I get copyright claims after watching trailers on stream. You would think that these movie studios, you would want that. You would want people streaming your trailers. That is 100% free advertising. People talking about it. It's on screen the entire I had to cut out Godzilla -0 because that blocked the video. It wasn't just like you can't monetize. It was no one will see your video because you watch Godzilla -0. Now, I thought that was like the underdog story of the year because it was this tiny little Korean studio, and they made it for like $50 in a Snickers bar, and it was this amazing movie. Why would you not want people watching that? I had to cut it out of the entire video just to get it to be visible. It was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, weren't we talking about Supergirl?
Yeah. So we're talking about Supergirl because
that tangent.
That is how little anyone gives a fuck.
Nobody cares. It reminded me that they say this dumb shit, and I think it hurts the ticket sales. Now, Supergirl looks stupid, but while promoting Supergirl, Millie was talking about how there's, people think that let's just see here. She learned from her experience on House of the Dragon, quote, simply existing as a woman in this space, which that fucking line I just hate when people say that. Just that sentence. It's like for some reason when you get hired for a big movie, they just must hand these women this script. Here, say this in an interview. Simply existing as a woman in this space is something that people comment on. We have become very comfortable with having this weird ownership of women's bodies. And you would have thought a bomb had gone off. So quickly did the rage machine set its sights on Alcock. she said, I didn't even say men. I said people. Oh, wow. I didn't say you guys when I said Nazis. I just described you and then said Nazis. Well, you're proving my point. Wow, you're proving my point. So she says this, and then she follows it up with, I guess women know that this is just how it's always been, unfortunately. And it's from a lot of people whose profiles have no photo, their burner accounts, or someone's name, and then dad of 4, Christian, which is hilarious to me. But I mean, hey, whose opinion do you really care about? If you're pissing the right kind of people off, you're doing okay. So she puts this out. She says this, and then last week was being interviewed by Pink Magazine or something. And they said, do you think that Supergirl is gay or is she's an LGBT icon or something? And she said that maybe she should be, or that she's so happy that she's an LGBT queer icon or something, and that Supergirl doesn't live inside the binary of gender expectations. So, yeah, Millie is out here absolutely tanking this movie that was already going to do poorly because all the hate that she got was because the trailer looked like shit. I mean, that's where all this comes. They can try to deflect all they want, but the trailer looked like garbage. You have a character that's drunk all the time. It's like Hancock, but less fun. She's not taking it seriously, which is why I actually did not like Masters of the Universe. I couldn't have fun. I couldn't have fun because the movie kept reminding me that it was dumb, and thereby I was dumb for trying to enjoy it. It wouldn't let me enjoy it because it was constantly trying to undercut what it was doing.
That was one of the biggest problems I had with it. Is it would present something that was silly, and it wouldn't do it earnestly. It would do the sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We know that this is dumb, which it undermined what they were trying to do, and it undermined the comedy.
Yeah,
which
it drove me crazy. But I think that's what I see in the Supergirl trailer. She's drunk. She's constantly wearing this trench coat. She just doesn't get it. Oh, she's just super just slumped over and I don't care about anything. And so if your main protagonist doesn't care, then why should anybody else care? And so nobody's going to go see this movie, and they were trashing the trailer. And of course, Millie has been told by everybody that she's surrounded by, well, they just hate you because you're a woman. We women have always known that the chuds are like this. And so, yeah, the tagline, truth, justice, whatever. Okay. Why the fuck am I going to want to see your movie? I don't think it's going to even hit the 40 million that they're saying. I think that's too high. I think this is going to crash, and this is going to be the biggest flop of the year, in my opinion.
I mean, The Bride would be the biggest. It would have real trouble beating The Bride. I think The Bride is actually the third biggest box office flop this century.
Oof.
So it's either going to be, Supergirl is going to be a massive bomb, and the fact that Millie Alcock has been running her mouth just makes it all the more pleasing to me that it's going to bomb. And I'm absolutely not going to pretend that I'm not enjoying this. I want it to bomb, and I will be gloating when it does bomb. I'm sick of superhero movies. I don't like Millie Alcock running her mouth like this. I don't like James Gunn's shitty James Gunn style. He's a one-trick pony. And I just want superhero movies to fuck off and stay fucked off. I'm absolutely not objective in this. I was sick of them years ago. I don't want them to make a comeback. I want this to feel. I said the same thing before Superman came out. I'm not objective here. I want this movie to feel. And I was right. It was terrible.
Yeah. And it's gonna. And the crazy thing is, just selfishly, from a business perspective, I'm not going to go watch this movie next. I'm not going to rush out and watch this because there's no point. Nobody's going to even watch videos about how bad this is. And that's how you know things have gotten really terrible.
I think Drinker and Nerdrotic will be able to get some decent views talking about how shit it is and how badly it's bombed, and that's it. Anybody who tries to jump on this bandwagon, if you're a YouTuber, don't bother. You're not going to get the views.
No, you won't even. You might not even get your movie ticket price back. It's going to be flooded for a couple of days. It really won't even get that many views. You're absolutely right. The streams will get something for a day or two, and then it'll be forgotten, just like Mandalorian. Nobody talks about that anymore. And that was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's going to be absolute trash. But that's our show for today. We're going to we'll talk about it next time. We'll laugh and gloat and roast marshmallows over the fire of this wreckage when we see how absolutely little that it made in its first weekend. Well, it'd be 2 weeks, so we'll get to see probably the second weekend as well. Before we go out, this is one for you, sir. Actually, both of these. The Mad Matt gave you $20. Thank you very much, Matt. Howdy, gents. Just wanted to say a hearty thank you for all the laughs you've given me. Love your stuff. Well, that's very nice of Matt. And this one is also for you, Despot. This is a correction. About the Starship Troopers. Correction from earlier comment. It was Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War. Also, thank you for all your work, Greg and Despot. Love your videos. Well, thank you, Dipsky.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Appreciate that. Well, guys, that is our show for the evening. I'm afraid I cut off random because he had to leave for just a second. So hopefully he'll come back here while I'm blabbing. But I really appreciate you guys all hanging out, sticking around, listen to us complain about movies and stuff and games. And Despot, go watch Despot's feminist video. Go watch Random's Has-Been Hotel video. And I'll be having something here shortly. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.